Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 216, Saturday, September 7th. Back down in the basement to talk another week of wrestling. We'll hit NXT No Mercy. We will hit AEW Dynamite, NXT, the weekly show, bit of Raw. Did not watch TNA. Any SmackDown today?
Probably not, but
maybe
minimally.
Yeah, we might. But we'll talk about all those things. Timestamps, you can maneuver to whatever you would like to listen to because we start out talking about other things for a little bit. I don't know what those other things are going to be this week. It was a pretty unexciting week for me. Played a couple good nights of pickleball, Tuesday and Thursdays. Men's league on Tuesday nights. That was really fun. What did you do this week? You've been working every day, basically.
Yeah, I haven't really had much else.
And we were trying to get to Canada's Wonderland yesterday with your brother and his friends, but the weather was not cooperative, so we did not.
Oh, yeah, no, it was like horrible.
We did not go anywhere. So I don't know what the plan is. You got any plans coming up lately or anything? No? Or recent?
No, nothing that's like
I know
notable
this is
to
going to be
mention.
the most boring banter ever. I don't even know what to discuss.
Off to a good start, you know.
Yeah, you brought some figures down. If you're watching the video for him, you've got, who's in a crucifix here? Vinci, because he lost. Did he lose in his debut?
4 seconds.
In 4 seconds? I didn't know that detail. I knew he lost. That's terrible. So why? Why?
Oh, we can talk about that later. I guess I'll bring it up.
Yeah, we'll get to that, I guess. So I don't know really. There's nothing exciting going on around here. It's just been back to work, back to school. Everyone's just in the grind. Your brother has basketball game today, basketball game tomorrow. Then the House League playoffs will start. Then his rep teams will start. I'm coaching junior girls basketball team right now. I just started this week with tryouts, so that's been keeping me busy as well. Lots of long days. It was a short week coming out of the holiday Labor Day, but the week didn't feel short in terms of work.
No, I felt like it kind of went slow for sure.
It did. So hopefully
because we didn't do anything interesting.
We didn't do anything interesting. Hopefully we get. I feel like when I get back to work after the summer, it takes me like 2 or 3 weeks to get my stamina back because I basically come home from work and nap immediately and then get up. Make dinner, work out, or if I find the time to do that, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I don't know. This is going to be a very abridged banter section for people who tune in to listen to the banter, which I don't think is a lot of people.
I guess I was going to say none, but there is technically, yeah.
My Aunt Kathy, I think, the odd time
there's
checks out the banter.
Technically, a few who...
Yes.
The only point of contention.
Family members who might want to hear our voices but don't really care about wrestling. Because why would you, right? It's such a niche product. Yes, but it's what we enjoy, so we decide we're going to come down and talk about it. But I don't know. Do you want to just get moving? Because we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
We'll get to something interesting.
All right, so we'll move past this super awkward and uninspired banter segment. We'll try and do better next week, people. I'll try and live a more exciting week.
I'll try and be more interesting.
Right? We'll try and do something this week.
That's on me for not living lavishly like I typically do.
Exactly, right? Yeah, we're so...
I just caught me on an off week, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But we'll get into talking about some actual wrestling. The first segment, as always, if you've been here before, it's news and rumors. All right, so taking a quick look at the ratings, we've got NXT averaging 631,000 viewers this week, up 2.6%, earned a 0.17 in the key demographic. Exactly the same. It really feels like, if my memory is correct, it's been really consistent numbers lately, like since post-Olympics, probably, when the competition sort of went back to normal. It seems like they're pretty locked in at this low to mid 600,000, so I guess that's solid. AEW averaged 660,000 viewers, so pretty close to NXT this week, right? Down 5.3% from last week. 0.19 in the key demographic, down 17.4%. That's not a good drop. That's the third lowest demo rating of 2024 so far. And you've been noticing you're a little bit worried about the live attendance for some things, right?
It's been a thing for a while now.
It has.
It is always concerning.
But in my first news item might make you feel a little bit better, but you go first if you've got something for news. I only have a few items.
Biggest thing in the week is probably Odyssey Jones being removed from the roster page.
I do have that as well.
In light of some transphobic comments made in 2022 and also domestic violence allegations.
Okay, so I didn't see the transphobic part. I was reading just so...
I haven't seen any more details on the allegation part, but I know that is a thing.
Behind the curtain, we sort of get up on some Saturday mornings when the schedule permits and we sort of tinker with our last minute stuff before coming down here. And at first it was like, oh, he's been gone. He's basically not on the website. He's creative's been told to plan nothing further for him. And then it was like, nobody knows what it's about. Then I click a couple other things. And I didn't see the transphobic comments, but I did see the domestic violence issues. So
I don't know what that entails, but
nothing good, obviously. And this is a company that has forgiven or looked the other way on a lot of stuff in the past. Maybe under the new regime, it's better. But so if there is cause to get rid of them, good for them, I would say, right?
Yeah,
So
I don't really care. Not in the aspect of that, but I mean, I don't care because I'd never really liked him.
it's just unfortunate for him. I mean, because he was just in the midst of his first real push, right? But if he is a terrible person, then see you later. I got no problem with getting rid of him.
I don't care.
I wasn't super invested in the story anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't. And then also when he was in NXT, we didn't like him because they preached him as like a Keith Lee type, and he was not.
And I feel like they just, one of those ones, he needed way more seasoning in NXT. And they just didn't bother. They went, oh, he's really big. Let's move him up, sort of thing.
He's like a faster Mark Henry, but it's not really like that.
No, he was looking better on main roster recently, I will say, but he's gone, so who cares? So AEW seems to be, and this is what I was talking about, you might be happy to hear, on the verge of a huge media rights deal with Warner Brothers Discovery.
Right, that's been in the work.
So it has, and now a few more details seem to be coming out. Reportedly came after Tony Khan and whatever the boss of Warner Brothers Discovery. They met during the Olympics. Mr. Warner.
One of the Warner
One brothers. Of the Warner Brothers.
Something Warner.
Right. Or David Zaslav. One of those.
I don't think so.
No. The offer is said to be extensive. So that would mean like for many, many years, I assume, which would be good. And apparently both parties are optimistic that the deal will be made. Something about Tony Khan tweeting or saying something that was like leaking it almost sort of thing. But I don't know. So hopefully, because if that gets solidified, right, it's the TV money that they're really worried about. The live, whatever is... Obviously, optically, they want all the buildings full and they want to sell as many tickets as possible. But as long as you've got that TV money, that's the big money coming in. So security, from a security standpoint, that's really important.
That's true.
Yeah.
I saw Victoria got on a Legends deal, so that means merch for her.
Okay. She was awesome back in the day.
So probably figure at some point.
Yeah, good for her. I always liked her.
Speaking of shirts, I still want that JD McDonough shirt. That one is sick. Like
she was held. She was held back, I think, because a lot of the time she was wrestling. Wrestling wasn't a priority, and she's good, and she's not blonde, and she doesn't fit that mold that they love. Yeah. So she was always like, she's the talented evil one, right? Who never quite gets taken as seriously as she should have.
We should put in an order. Get me that shirt, and then you can get your Fatu.
Get my Fatu shirt that they didn't have in my size.
Yeah, I want that JD McDonough shirt. It's nice. I want that Darby Allin hoodie too, the pink one.
Nice. Netflix, the documentary you were talking about just before we came on the air here, it's being blasted. I don't know who would blast it because, so this headline kind of bugs me. Netflix, Mr. McMahon documentary blasted as, quote, double shovel burial of Vince McMahon. So he is a monster. How do you do a documentary of his life that, isn't, quote unquote, a burial? What are you supposed to do?
You would bullshit your way heavily.
And so what they're saying is because you don't know who Bill Simmons is, but he's a huge sportscaster who now has his own podcasting network and the whole deal, right? So basically, he does not care. He doesn't have any ties to WWE. He's not looking to make any friends. So
did he make it?
He might consider it to be an honest portrayal. What other people I don't like this slant of it's a burial. What are you supposed to say that's good about him? Exactly.
I guess that he brought WWE to
prominence, by
right? You can say what he's done for the company that's positive, right? Because obviously
by having no morals or ethics or anything.
But then that's get into that details, right away, right? The positives, there's always
as soon as you zoom in from he's the one who made modern wrestling what it is. Well, let's look at why and how he's a monster.
I was just rewatching Cultaholics, got a 4-part thing about the Golden Era. And so the first part of that is him going from a territory to...
Right. And then going and closing all the other territories as soon as he had the financial means to do
Taking all their guys.
Right.
And,
raiding everybody, shutting
even when he was
down.
going up against Crockett and that's how Survivor Series was born, to combat Starrcade, right?
And then harassing people, and from at the very least to much, much, much worse, as we know he's embroiled with. So I'm fine with it being a double shovel burial, which I think is nice phrasing. Actually makes me more likely to watch it, knowing that is some of the feedback on it.
I'm curious.
Because I'm not looking for one that portrays him in any sort of positive light, because I don't think that's realistic. But anyways, so we may check that out.
I probably will, at least a little bit.
I only have one other story.
I'm sorry, I was just looking on Shop AEW, and so you remember that shirt that Swerve had where it's like whose house and it's got like the house logo on it? Hangman's got the exact same shirt except it's on fire.
That's awesome.
I honestly do like it. I'll show you after, but like it's pretty funny.
Smart.
The only other thing I had was you wanted to cover Bash and Berlin results since we didn't watch it.
We did not watch Bash and Berlin.
Because who cares?
I had no desire to see it, and neither did you, and we just
didn't look interesting.
It didn't look interesting. It looked like on paper, and I don't even know all the results. I mean, I could probably guess, but it felt like a placeholder kind of.
It did. It felt like kind of like Elimination Chamber earlier this year, which is the only show I have for worst of. And I did write on there, not even because it was a horrible show, but because it was uninteresting. Mm-hmm. And for an international PLE, it felt like the atmosphere wasn't there. Because like I feel like this year we've had a lot of like they go international
crazy
and
crowds.
Really right, and it wasn't. They were all predictable. So this one felt similar. But okay, well I'll get you to guess them all first, and we'll see. So I think the opener was Cody and Owens.
Obviously Cody.
Right, exactly. That is that. Yeah.
And I did watch Raw, so maybe some of it seeped through, but I kind of skip parts that aren't. If they're recapping
half of this
things.
is SmackDown, right?
Right. So I won't know that.
Actually, sorry, that's the only. SmackDown
I heard it was a lot of Raw. Yeah,
it is actually.
Okay, carry on. I'll still guess.
Blair and Cargill against the Unholy Union.
Well, I saw that on Raw they have the titles back, but I would have predicted that 100% anyways.
Because I think they were literally the Scotland win because McIntyre didn't win.
And now, hey, you were in Germany. No one cares if you win.
They're the token Scotland.
You're done.
Yeah. Speaking of Scotland, Punk and McIntyre strap match.
I assume Punk.
Yeah,
because
he was actually wearing the same gear from Brawl In last year.
Yeah, and I think it was part of his promo, or at least the tone was, "I'm moving on because I won," sort of thing. And Drew's like, "Eh."
Well, then why didn't? Well, I guess because Drew didn't move on when he won, so I guess it's not Punk's fault. But I'm still gonna blame him.
Yeah.
Priest and Ripley against Dom and Liv.
I would assume Priest and Ripley. Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Gunther and Orton.
I saw Gunther with the belt still. So, yeah. But I'm not even kidding. I would have predicted every single one of those, right?
I agree.
I haven't heard feedback on if the matches were awesome or anything.
I didn't hear anything blow away, so
I would assume Gunther Orton was probably good, but like again, you know what's happening, and Orton for me is not.
And to me, there's still the difference between WWE is even if Raw is decent, I'm still like I'm not missing an AEW pay per view.
No, like we'll be watching. Are we gonna make predictions for that? By the way, I didn't even think about it.
Unlocked
for All Out, so we'll talk about that. Yeah,
but like I just missed it. And I don't care.
Exactly. So, and I used to feel like, we should be completists and at least the pay-per-view stuff, but now it's our podcast. We do it for fun and we talk about what we want. I'm not going out of my way to watch stuff. So basically do better WWE, make me want to watch it, right? And I'll watch it.
They do so many too. It feels like it's not notable. Like there are these placeholder ones, right? Even AEW, like, even though they've done more, I still feel like I should be watching them.
Like,
especially just because for the matches, but just I feel like they are more notable.
Were there any like notable moments like like I didn't hear anything coming out of it really?
No, it's not even like
nothing new or exciting.
Not even Tala Tonga. Where's he at?
Right.
I'm waiting for it.
Oh, I just saw when I didn't put it in my news, but AEW trademarked two things. I think it was the clone, and then like also the clone in Spanish, I think. So they think it's some new character that's coming.
New hologram?
Yeah, maybe a clone of hologram.
That does remind me. Yeah. I did see that Danielson got a legal letter for trying to trademark Yes. Even though, like, I think he was saying his legal whatever, like they said, like, it's up for grabs, do you want it? And he said it wasn't that much, so that's why he's like, he tried to trademark it and like, or get the rights or whatever.
And WWE stepped in, I assume?
Yeah, which is weird if they don't have it anymore.
Yeah, but they're like, nobody can have it sort of people, I think. Yep. But anyways, I'm done for news. You're done? All right, so we will go back a week in time to talk about the paper. So ironically, we watched the NXT pay-per-view and not the main roster one, but we did, and we'll talk about it. It was NXT No Mercy. All right, it seems so long ago. I kind of remember what I liked and didn't like, but I don't remember a lot of the details. So it'll be going back to my notes. I did take notes for this. So I felt like it was kind of a mixed bag overall. There's some stuff I really liked. One thing I thought was not good at all. And then I think something in the middle sort of thing. So I was running upstairs to do something, missed the opening, but you said it was like a generic one.
It wasn't the cool one they did last year.
Because usually I'm like, yeah, they try, like, even when I don't like it, they at least try to do something.
I feel like they haven't done that as much lately, though.
Kind of weird. So this was more like just the main roster. And I thought it was cool because, like, you take those risks on the NXT, like the farm team sort of one. And if that kind of style works, then you can.
They did that really cool heist one for Money in the Bank, though. That one was really cool.
And then there was the video game one they did that was
cool. Last year, No Mercy.
Yeah, they've done a whole bunch of different things. So you said this one was
even the one on Heatwave when we went live, it was like they're playing the matches off the network or whatever. That was like something at least.
Right. So this show opens with, I thought, a great choice and execution for an opening match, right? We get
maybe my favorite match.
We get Fraxium. It was my highest rated match. Oh, do we want to play over under accurate for this? If you want to pull that up
on it.
We should make a little jingle for that where you sing or something.
Yeah, okay.
So it's Fraxium, as we call them, and I think that name's kind of catching on.
I think that's what they've been like going with on like Instagram
it's so
or like social media
much
or whatever.
Easier than saying Fraser and Axiom every time.
I don't think it'll ever be like their official name, but I don't mind. Like I feel like that's what people will call them. You know what I mean?
Yes. So they're taking on Chase U, who are the current NXT Tag Team Champions. Just won those titles from Fraxium, right, at the last PLE, or
no,
was
it was on
TV?
Bash, wasn't it? No, because Bash was with Rascals. I think it was just on TV.
Could have been.
Because Bash was when the Rascals turned.
So this incarnation, because it's part of the storyline, is Andre Chase and Ridge Holland, right? So Hudson's been sort of snubbed as the power guy in this tag team, and Holland was able to do what he wasn't and win those tag team titles. So what do we have here? This starts out, Fraser's flying around the ring until Holland tags in and takes over with his power, including, like, I think it was a stalling butterfly suplex.
And his single knee pad.
I kind of liked his power work in this match.
He did pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I'm not usually a Ridge fan, but he was pretty good.
Fraxium worked together to keep control of Chase. Fraser hits the standing shooting star, which is always looks nice. Booker complains about all of the people at ringside for Chase U, which I thought was a fair point, right? Like, there's, 3 other people down there? You've got Riley Osborne, Hudson, and Thea, I would assume.
Yeah.
Holland then takes his turn. He dominates Fraser with suplexes and other high-impact stuff that even impressed Jack, who said it could be a finisher. I don't remember what I put, some high-impact.
It was like, so he had him on, I think it was like he had him on his shoulder for a Stormbreaker kind of thing, and then he turned him into a DDT or something. It was kind of like
it did look good.
Stormbreaker with less rotation. It was pretty good.
And if you're giving Holland credit, you know it was good.
Yeah, because I used to hate him.
I'm sort of indifferent and then like him at times. But anyways.
Dunn was Butch and he did nothing, okay?
That's true. You can't say that word or Butch snaps now. That was on Raw this week.
I don't know.
Or was it NXT?
It's one of them at least. Yeah. Because I think Trick...
it was Raw because it was Jackie Redmond called him Butch.
Yeah, and Shames did in the match. And then Trick had some diss track on social media and I think he's been saying whoop that Butch.
Yes.
I do like that he hates it, but if it becomes a trigger word for him, I'm gonna...
So that it is. That's exactly what it's becoming.
That's not good.
Because I thought it was even awkward the way Jackie Redmond, why she even chose to say it. And then he has to get mad and she had to react, be scared.
I do like him getting mad at it and it's fine, but if it starts to become this whole I
think that's what it's going to be.
That's not good.
It's like the switch that flips.
It's like Festus.
Yeah.
That's not good. I don't like that.
So, sorry, back to the match. We get a stalling Ridge Holland power slam and diving headbutt, but Fraser flies in to break up the pin. Fraxium finally gets to Holland. He tags out. Miscommunication by Fraxium, and Axiom gets crotched. Chase Spanish fly and powerbomb for a good near fall.
I like that.
And I said Jack liked it. He can add color.
He accidentally crotched him. It was he was up top. I remember I think Fraser was running against Holland right, and so he just knocked him off.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was just well done. It's completely inadvertent.
And it was different because they've been doing they super kick each other,
which they did again in this match.
Yeah.
So
this was a little different.
So yeah, I did like that.
Lame setup for Ridge to dump both over the barricade. Don't remember, but it annoyed me in the minute. Frog Splash 450 by Fraxium for a near fall. Jack loves the Fraser 450.
He just does it so much better.
Extra speed, extra impact. He just does it
better. It feels like the rotation's actually adding impact.
Instead of just looking flashy and going, hey, look how athletic I am.
It looks like it's actually propelling him forward.
I'm doing it to generate more force.
He just does it better and to where it makes sense that he's doing it.
It does. Whereas instead of looking just looking impressive, flashy, it
actually does make sense. So I really enjoy his version.
Chase U hit a Doomsday Device to Fraser for 2. We get a buckle bomb, kick to the head, Northern Grit to Fraser, but that pinfall's broken up there. Superplex chasing the Dragon to Chase, which I love that combination for a 2 count. Chase moves, the Golden Ratio ends up going to Fraser by accident. We get a powerbomb backstabber to Axiom for 2. And then sort of cutting to the finish, we get a Spanish fly, Phoenix splash to Andre Chase, and we do have new champions after about 14 minutes. Your thoughts?
13:33. I thought this was really fun for an opener. It kept a good pace, and honestly, I would have liked the longer match. Because I thought they could have done a lot more. Like,
I think Andre Chase does not get enough credit for being a bit of a technician. Like, he's
I
very
just think
good in
he
the
needs
ring.
to get some actual ring gear. Like, just put him in tights or
It's
something.
his thing now, though.
It is, but like, it just looks out of place, especially now like everyone else has like wrestling a Chase U shirt, and that's fair. But I feel like everyone else
just keeps having good matches. You know what I mean?
This is really good. I thought even like Ridge looked pretty good, and like again, I've never thought much of him ever.
No, in this power role with two small guys, right? It kind of works.
And Fraser and Axiom, I think like they might get tag of the year.
They're my front runner right now.
They've had like great match after great match after great match. They're just like a great combination together, and there's nothing to complain about.
And for me, you're a guy that doesn't really care much about NXT, but you will seek out their matches.
I will watch their matches.
So that's a good sign. They're just, and again, I think they have to stay together because I don't know what either of them does in a singles role.
I think it's a good spot for them. I would, even in this current landscape, I fear for them on the main roster.
Agree.
So I hope they stick around for a while. But like, I think they're great value, and I think having the belts on them for a while just makes sense because, like I said, they're just great all around, and I'm looking forward to them versus Rascals.
Yes.
2.0.
Yes.
So I'll see.
And the rumors of if we get the machine guns in there somehow.
Machine guns come in, you gotta do that, right? Like, so I really enjoyed this action. It was great. Some of the near falls were good. I just thought all around it was really well.
Yeah, I thought this was an excellent tag match. Fraser Axiom looked incredible.
Almost fits in the old NXT. I feel like old NXT would have been better and maybe a little longer, but like it wouldn't feel completely out of place.
They could have gone another like 4 minutes for me. Agreed.
I would have gone to 20 even. Like I'd take it.
Holland looked like a legit powerhouse. Tons of crazy combinations and near falls. I was thoroughly entertained to start the show. What was the?
Oh wow, Meltzer went 4 1/4.
So I went 4. So I'm under
4. That's just I'm surprised.
I don't have a problem with 4 1/4
and a 7.89 for cage match.
So I went over them, under Meltzer over cage match, and then after that, right?
Probably other match I was looking forward to.
Other thing notable, no, but Holland, remember?
Oh, right.
So we get Holland snapping. He destroys everyone in Chase U except Thea Hale, who manages to escape to the floor.
Rampage.
And then Rampage to Chase on the announce table as Hale watches in horror.
Note how the table doesn't break here.
No. Chase gets stretchered out. Crowd chants one more time, which I don't think was the desired response.
I love when the crowd just do that as a joke. Just like, the babyface just got destroyed by like a heel.
Do it again.
In a heel turn, they're just like, do it again.
And we go to a commercial because remember it cut out like we were watching a TV show basically and went to
and then they proceeded to replay this like at least 2 more times throughout the show.
And my suspicion was, and I don't know if it still is or not, but it seems like less likely, but that Hale is going to be part of it with Holland, but it's just going to take her time to make the turn.
I actually did see, I guess you'll probably mention it later, but Holland's promo from NXT.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. So then we move on into what I thought was maybe the next best match on the show. Like, I agree. Definitely in my top 3.
Definitely peaked early.
It's the X Division Championship. Zachary Wentz now, no longer Nash Carter, right? Taking on Wes Lee in a non-title match. Was that right?
Yeah, because he only has the X Division title.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So he's not defending that. Sorry, I was thinking Lee.
No, because he won it like the night before, or a couple nights before.
Right. So that sort of caveat made me think that Lee is winning, right? But they just don't want to change the title. So that was a nice little misdirection, I guess. Anyways, we get a standoff early because they know each other so well, right? And can anticipate each other's stuff. So we get a twisting dive by Wentz. They end up on the floor. Lee with a chop block on the apron to shift the momentum in his favor. Wentz runs hard face first into the corner as Lee is definitely working more deliberately right now that he's a heel. He's trying to slow it down a little bit.
You can definitely see the difference.
Because his style is usually just...
And it's got like the black kick Pat sound said, like the matching with like the design.
Heels love black.
He's got like the slower remix of his theme.
He runs, double stomps Wentz in the corner. Commentary stopped calling the action to hit talking points from this storyline. And if I mentioned it, it's probably because it was to the point where it was annoying me a bit when they stopped calling moves for a lengthy period of time. German suplex, high knee, punt, then another from the apron that turns Lee inside out. Wentz with a floating bro, thanks to you for reminding me that's what it's called, to Lee on the floor. Wentz senton back in the ring for 2. Meteora countered smoothly into a Wentz Boston Crab. I like that transition.
That was very nice.
Different kicks back and forth before a leaping Rana off the top and a Phoenix splash from Lee for 2. Wentz kicks out of the cardiac kick, and Vic says Wentz may be Carter when he wakes up. Remember, he made a little shot.
I don't remember that.
So he took the cardiac kick. He's like, basically, he kicked him so hard he might think he's Carter.
Oh, I do remember. Yeah.
It was kind of like a wink, Nash Carter reference, right? Blockbuster DDT was my best description by Wentz. Thought it looked
was like
pretty cool.
It was more like a destroyer, but a DDT.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was cool.
Wentz moves and Lee runs into the steps. The ref can use his discretion since this is so personal, which I don't enjoy when they try and wedge that stuff in.
This match because WWE never does that. Like AEW, they do discretion a lot.
There's like some personal feud threshold that this has surpassed for them to let things go.
Which again would make more sense if that's a regular thing they did. But usually they're really on it about the count, regardless.
Exactly. Wentz gets kicked. He leans on the announce table, which promptly collapses because that's why you mentioned it not breaking on the Rampage. So Chase takes a high impact move on the table, doesn't move, and Wentz kind of leans against it, and it just collapses on the floor. So it kind of blew up whatever they were trying to do there, I think, probably. Trey Miguel stops Wesley from using a chair. Lee turns right into a destroyer from Wentz off the apron that looked awesome.
That was really cool.
Really smooth. Back in the ring, Wentz hits a UFO, and he wins this match. I was a little bit surprised.
I was a little surprised too.
Almost 14 minutes. Is this the show where every match was the same length, basically? Yep. Yeah, right. That was pretty weird. You're basically getting 15-minute matches the whole way throughout this show.
Most of them were like
14 to 15.
Between 13 and 14. Yeah. And then the last two border on 15.
They were all within like 90 seconds of each other, I think, basically. So your thoughts on this one?
NXT shows, they always go like really short matches. It's weird.
Yeah.
Because TakeOver, you get like some lengthy ones.
You get in and out fast of these shows, man. I kind of like it.
Like, it's good, but I'd like for some of them to be able to breathe,
I'd like if there is a big match or a culmination of a big feud that, they took a little longer
they
for
don't
sure.
Sometimes. No. But no, I thought this was good. Probably my second favorite match on the show.
Yep.
Felt like there was a decent story going in, and both of them were good in the ring.
Yes.
Wesley, a little weird, going more deliberate, but not bad. Like,
no, I thought it started out that way, and then it sped up a bit.
It got better towards the end, and good for Wentz. Like, solid win for him, and makes sense.
Because you were surprised, I remember, because I was saying, I think when the match was starting, that Wentz, I like his style the best of all the Rascals. He's my favorite, like, in-ring guy, because he's a little bit more of traditional stuff and not just super fast flipping, flying stuff. He's kind of got some other stuff as well. So yeah, I thought it started out a little bit slow, but in the end, I thought it built into a really good match. And again, I've always liked Wentz's in-ring style, and I thought he got to showcase quite a bit here, considering he's a cast-off from NXT, kind of back from another company, right? They don't have to give him this much or even give him the win here.
I'm surprised, this whole thing with him.
Lee did slow things a bit, and that he's a heel, and it took me a while to get used to it, but I thought a really good match with some big spots. Probably with one being wiped out from the flimsy table. Like, I don't know, maybe they were going to do something cool.
They still kind of managed it with the Meteor to the outside, though.
They did.
Or the Stomp or whatever. Like, it's still, there's something there.
So what were the ratings from other places before I give mine?
Over, under, Meltzer accurate. Went 3 3/4, and then Cage Match was 7.38.
So I went over Cage Match and bang on. I went 3 3/4.
Yeah, I agree with Meltzer.
I thought a really entertaining match. I quite enjoyed it. Then we kind of hit the opposite of that, unfortunately, right? It's Kalani Jordan defending her.
And I surprisingly enjoyed her last
match. So it's not like we don't like her, because that was her and Ruka.
That was the one we were there for, yeah.
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty good.
I liked it too. So this is Jordan defending her North American Championship against Wendy Chu. And then one of the quotes I guess commentary used that annoyed me, Wendy Chu really bringing nightmares to life.
That's just stupid.
She's just a person with makeup on.
Just dumb.
Really long back and forth with knuckle locks to start, which is never exactly a hot start for me. Jordan's slingshot tornado to the floor usually looks pretty good. Drop kick and a head kick by Lonnie. Tumbling thing for a 2 count. Lonnie and the tree
tumbling thing.
This is super detailed.
This is the commentary.
This is what you get, a high quality professional podcast like this, okay? Lonnie's in the tree of woe on the apron, and we get a basement drop kick to her face. Running boot to Jordan in the corner. First time in this show that Jack has picked up his phone. So that was not a good sign, right? Because you're sort of in front of me a little bit. So I can see you were engaged in the first 2 matches, and this one you're looking
there it goes.
You're looking for something else to do. Chu is in control of Jordan, and things are really slow, I thought, at that point when she was in control. Jordan finally fights her way out of a second trio woe spot. They run into each other, both are down. Lonnie briefly fires up, gets caught with a German, but rallies out of the corner, hits a jumping kick and a step-up DDT, followed by a sit-out DDT. Chu sits up, crossbody by Jordan. Chu sits up again, quote-unquote, like she's possessed. No thank you. No thanks. Jordan top rope frog splash for 2. Chu suplex on the floor, then a power bomb out of the corner in the ring, followed by a Koloss, as you reminded me it was.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
For a 2 count. Oh, here we go. Ready? Very big botch out of the corner. Hopefully Jack remembers the details.
Oh yeah, wasn't it like they were going for some superplex thing and like Chu like
Just
slipped.
sort of
They both
stepped
slipped
back
off.
down, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was rough. Chu applies her submission. Jordan fights her way into the corner. Meaningless handspring flatliner by Jordan. Then a 450 split-legged moonsault, and it's over. And just 13 minutes
I don't
long.
know what meaningless flatliner is supposed to mean.
I don't either. I should have. This is what I'm going like minimal notes sort of thing. Meaningless handspring flatliner. Huh. Oh, I guess because I don't think the handspring added anything to it is probably what I'm saying.
Was that the one where she did like? Remember she did a really bad handspring?
Oh,
We were
and then had
laughing
to
at
like
her.
basically walk back 2 steps to hit walk to hit the flatliner anyways.
It's like I feel like
That's what it
handspring is
is.
supposed to be like kind of.
So the handspring thing stopped short, and then she had to close the gap.
Yeah,
So it's like, why do the
You're supposed
handspring?
to actually like lean against the ropes, but I feel like she kind of like stopped at the ropes, but like you
That's
know,
right.
you gotta like.
I think that's what it
Yeah.
was. So I didn't think this was very good. I thought when Chu was in charge, it was really plodding. And then when Kalani was in control, there were issues as well. A couple clear mistakes, a disinterested crowd, I thought, especially after the first 2 matches, right? Didn't really help this.
Yeah, this one definitely was a lull.
They both worked hard. I don't think things worked well. And I think Jordan has a bright future, not on the mic at this point, but
No, she needs like actual character. Because I was even saying here, her entrance and theme, it's all so generic and just lacks any personality.
She needs some more time in NXT.
Absolutely, which is fine because that's what you're here for. But
what did you think?
I didn't think it was great, honestly. And like as someone who like was higher than I expected on her last match, this one was not a follow up.
And that's inconsistency when you're kind of an inexperienced person.
Yeah,
right?
again,
like it's not a death knell for her or anything.
She'll work on it. So yeah, I didn't love it. Like I didn't go 2.5 or like even 2.25.
Over under accurate. What do you got? So I'll take your 2.5.
I'm gonna go okay. 1.25 for Meltzer.
Ooh, I went over.
A little harder. I'll go 2.25 because I honestly didn't. Like
I went 2.5.
And then 4.37 from Cage Match.
So around there. Like I'm a little higher than both of them. Oh well, quite a bit higher than Meltzer, a little higher than Cage Match. I went 2.5 stars. And then Tatum Paxley comes out right and chokes out Wendy Chu with a dragon sleeper and leaves a little doll on Chu's pillow.
Spooky feud, yay.
I guess that's what we're getting. Hooray. Then it's the other North American Championship. It's Oba Femi defending against Tony D, of course. So we've got Tony hitting a clothesline that sends Femi to the floor a couple minutes into this. German suplex, another clothesline to send Femi to the floor again a bit later. Femi eventually catches Tony and runs him into the corner. Tony runs the ropes, and it looks like he tweaks his ankle, remember, and basically collapses. And they do show the replay.
It was legit for a second.
They do so slow-mo replay, and he steps on Femi's foot and really rolls his ankle. So it's one of those, it hurts right away because I've done it a million times in basketball and volleyball, and then you're just sort of seeing how bad it is, and obviously he was okay to finish, right? Anytime Tony shows any signs, basically Femi just catches him and throws him, hits a nice shoulder breaker as well. Femi dominates with clubbing blows to the back of Tony's neck and a body slam. Tony hits a sudden DDT onto the apron to sort of slow Femi down. Tony hits an overhead belly-to-belly, bunch of right hands, a regular belly-to-belly, and a perfect plex in a nice little sequence there. Tony power slam, and then an electric chair for a 2 count. Femi shoves Luca Crucifino, throws stacks over the barricade, but then misses.
Good. You kind of chucked him.
Yes, and then misses Tony and hits the steel steps because he took that time to take out the other 2. Tony spear once we're back in the ring for a 2 count. Femi throws Tony, and a clothesline takes them both to the floor. Slap to Tony on the apron as Femi, that's one of his spots kind of thing. He slaps you in the chest because he can reach that high from the floor. Powerbomb back in the ring, but Tony manages to kick out. Tony escapes a second powerbomb, hits a Dominator, but can't make the cover. Femi then with a running uppercut in the corner, 2 consecutive powerbombs, and it's over in, guess what, 13 and change, right? As I'm sure you know.
13:46.
Yeah. So I thought the second half of this was better than the first.
I thought it was okay. I don't remember paying attention a lot.
I think we're on the same lines. I'm glad the injury in the middle was minor and that Tony could continue with the match. And Femi's still being presented as a monster for the most part, but Tony did get a couple opportunities in this match. His power just proves to be too much, right? And that's kind of a believable story to tell because he is just a massive dude.
It worked.
I thought they pulled this out in the second half, but I don't think it was great. What did you think, and what's our over-under?
It was 3 stars from Meltzer and 6.68 from Cage Match.
So I was bang on 3 stars. I'm with Meltzer on that.
I'd go
one.
like 2.5. I wasn't really paying attention.
No, you weren't into it super much, right? And it's part of it is I just don't think there's much Tony's going to do that interests you at this point because he's a cartoon character and solid in the ring, but it's kind of similar all
I
the
just
time.
don't really like him.
Yeah. Then we go to one that really over-delivered in a way for me, and that is Roxanne Perez defending her NXT Women's Championship against Jada Parker. So I really think, I'm pretty high on Jada Parker. I think charisma, attitude, character, she's well ahead of the curve, and then sort of wrestling moveset, to use that word wise, she's improving, right? So
yeah, I think her finisher, she needs something
a lot of
different.
a lot of butt-based offense from her, right?
Yeah.
But so she gets to cut a promo on her way to make her entrance that I thought was a cool choice because she does speak really well and conveys a really good
Yeah, it was kind of
attitude.
like the walking to the curtain kind of thing, which WWE's been doing a decent amount, which I like.
Yep. Holds encounters early, which was a bit surprising, but nice to see from Parker, right? So showing that she's learning some stuff here, which is good. Perez slaps Parker. It makes Parker mad, but Perez escapes the corner butt drop move. Parker hits a butterfly suplex. Then on the floor, she catches a diving Perez and climbs the steps with her, which is cool. But then Perez escapes, pulls Parker down onto the steps, and curb stomps her on the steps as well. Perez now targets Parker's injured midsection. She pulls Parker through the corner to the middle turnbuckle, hits her midsection with an abdominal stretch with shots to Parker's ribs. Perez hits her Parker's corner teardrop move, and Parker ends up laying across the corner, sort of set up for that. Parker catches a Perez kick and picks her up to deliver a power bomb. She then catches fire, culminating with a spine buster for a 2 count. Parker hits a top rope teardrop and a reverse suplex, but the hypnotic is countered into a crossface before transitioning into the rings of Saturn. Parker powers out, Samoan drop, but then misses a Vader bomb. Parker avoids the pop rock, hits the hypnotic, but she hit it too hard and it sends Perez spilling to the floor, so Parker can't follow up with a cover. She goes for another hypnotic on the floor, but Perez moves and Parker goes through the barricade, a spot that they now love in WWE. And I think we got it on Raw this week too, maybe, if I remember correctly. Perez hits a pop rocks onto a piece of the barricade.
Did not look more impactful. Like it looked less impactful than hanging on the floor.
Yeah, because there was less space for her to.
Looks padded, if anything.
They barely beat the 10 count, and then once they're in the ring, it's an immediate pop rocks that is effective. So it's over after 14 and change, I think it was.
This one was, 14.
I thought this was a really good match, over delivered. I'm super happy for Jada Parker in this. I think she kind of elevated herself here. The crowd was really into it by the end. Competitive match. Parker really held her own here, and it was a pretty fast-paced match. Perez continues to roll. I mean, I think she has to be in the running for female wrestler of the year, honestly.
I mean, if we don't have a lot.
So Parker proves she can hang with main eventers, and she needs to just keep adding and building off of this.
I do think she's not title ready, but like North American for sure.
I think she's going to be a big deal if she continues to develop. I'm pretty high on this match, so we'll see. I don't know what anyone else thought. We'll see what over/under accurate.
I thought it was good, not great.
Like, I think I liked it a lot more than you will.
Yeah, because like I like Parker's decent, but it does need some work, and I don't watch a lot of her character stuff. And Perez is good, but like I feel like she hasn't had the right opponent a bit. Because this was fine to me, and then Lola Vice, that one wasn't good.
Perez does. I think you're very right that Perez needs some sort of like
she's good, but it's just because there's not a lot of people on her level.
She needs
right
a huge feud, yeah.
So with Julia on the horizon, that's good. And Vacker's got to be.
They could do a really good Julia's a babyface chasing that title. Like that could really, and then that should be Perez moves on if that's a good feud.
So I thought this was solid. I'd go like maybe like 3.25.
I went 3 3/4. So what am I?
You're bang on with Meltzer and then 7.75.
Oh, Meltzer liked it too. So pretty, I would say accurate for those two ratings. So after the match, right, the lights go out, music and smoke, and it's Julia. She gets in the ring, gets face-to-face with Perez, who just kind of lifts up her title. And yeah, that's kind of, I'm anticipating really good things because Julia's really good.
I don't think I've actually watched her.
I've seen her maybe 3 times.
Because I watched Vacker, obviously.
Because remember, I always go and try and watch Stardom and then go, it's all in Japanese and I don't know any of the stories or who anyone is.
Yeah.
And even if the in-ring's really good, I'm just like, I want to know what's going on, sort of thing. So yeah, I thought that was a really good match, over-delivered. Only thing left is the main event. It's all Ego Ethan Page defending his NXT championship against Joe Hendry. And of course, we get Trick Williams as the special guest referee because Ethan Page has put his hands on officials and nobody wants to work with him.
His ref attire to make me laugh. 'Cause it's like a striped vest, but it's just like open so you can see his abs and whatever. It
was a very good choice. So Paige is in Trick's face right away, telling him to call it down the middle. A few quick spots early on, right, to show that Trick will do his job and call things fairly. I think it's like he's calling the 5 count as they're each backed into the corner or something like that. So it's like, well, his intentions are to like call it down the middle. He's a good, honorable baby face, right? So Henry does some athletic things, flips around to escape Paige's holds. We get a shoulder tackle and a stalling vertical by Henry. He carries Paige around the ring before dropping him. I thought we got more of the Henry power spots that I've said they should be capitalizing on because the guy's a beast. Paige boot puts him in control of the match. Henry ends up powering out of a guillotine with another suplex. Paige with a kick and a suplex of his own. Both up top teasing moves. We end up with a Paige avalanche power slam. Paige DDT to Henry onto the championship belt. Trick has recovered at this point, and he stops the second ref from making the count. So I sort of missed details of what's all going on there. But like Trick gets taken out, there's another ref, etc., etc. Paige punches the second ref when Trick moves. Trick's distracted long enough for Paige to hit a low blow, followed by the Ego's Edge, and Paige retains after about 15 minutes. Big shocker.
15:07, I
right?
Say.
I was thought good, not spectacular, and like some moving parts with the referees.
I thought the finish was kind of well done though, just like the low blow, sneaky kind of behind there.
That works for Paige, right? Like that's how he rolls.
Although doesn't help him that he gets fandom pinned all the time, then cheats to win. So
the cheating to win is fine.
That's fine.
Mid Carter's getting pinfall, like visual pins on him all over the place.
Even Henry doing it the other week, I didn't love.
So I thought Henry got to showcase his power. The crowd really, really loves him. And it's a quality title defense for Ethan Page. I thought a good match overall, but not great. I'm interested to see what the rest of if for over-under accurate.
Yeah, I thought it was good, not great. I probably enjoyed more than the last match just because, like...
How dare you?
These guys are better.
I like the other one considerably better.
But I'd probably only go... I'd almost go the same, but I'll go 3.5.
I went 3.5 as well.
And, sorry, Meltzer went 3.5, and then 6.62 for Cage Match.
So yeah, pretty accurate with both of those. And then Pete Dunne shows up and hits the bitter end to Trick on the floor. So that's obviously where we're going. Overall, pretty entertaining show. 3 matches I thought were really good in the tag title: Lee Wentz and Parker Perez. And the only one I thought was not very good was Kalani Jordan and Wendy Chu. So I thought it was solid. I went with the B show. It went by really fast, and I enjoyed the majority of it. Right. So I thought it was a solid B.
I think I go B- just because I enjoyed it a little less. Like I really enjoyed the first 2 matches, and like women's North American no good. I didn't honestly love the men's North American either, and like the women's title match was pretty solid, and then the main event was solid.
Yeah,
but still no takeover.
So a B- and a B. No, definitely not a takeover. Those were like A-, A+, like constant A's. Basically.
And I will say that every time, even though it's never going to be a takeover.
But a good pay-per-view offering, and it's free for me because I already have the network, so I was happy with it.
Which reminds me, I went the whole summer without revisiting that.
You did. Okay, so now we will shift gears into weekly TV show wrestling. It's our most in-depth review every week. It's where we break down this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, I'll finish my coffee. You start us off talking about Dynamite.
Oh, gosh.
What you got?
There it is. So we kicked off hearing from Daniel Garcia.
That is true.
Back to last week. He talked about how patience is a virtue, but he's not feeling very virtuous, so he calls out MJF so he can break his neck. MJF's way up in the stands with some security. He's had like a chair and some like a drink or something. He said he doesn't want to spoil breaking Garcia's neck on Saturday, so he's staying up there. He doesn't jump people from behind. He certainly doesn't do it looking like an emaciated skinhead looking like he's hooked on Ozempic.
Amazing. Emaciated, he's trying to say that Garcia's like skinny.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Gross. Garcia said everything MJ said is fake, like everything about him. He made I think he made reference to his tans and then the hair transplants, which
he did.
Does he actually do that?
I don't know, or if it was just a shot. It's probably just a shot.
Probably, but it makes you think,
Right.
Where is he said the thing that bugs him the most is the fake love that MJF has for AEW. Doesn't matter how many fake tattoos MJF has because none of it's real. I wonder if that is a fake tattoo now, actually. MJF gets cut off, and Garcia says that if MJF can find someone who loves him for longer than a year, he should marry her and have a kid. And the kid can look up at him one day and ask MJF if if he used to be a wrestler, and he'll say he was until Garcia ended his career.
Ooh.
MJF called out the fans for turning on him. He says the higher Garcia rises, the more the fans want to see him fall. Then he finished with like some sort of reference to Garcia's mother, something
Yes.
men related. Then Garcia runs in the crowd, takes out some security, and he gets bashed with the bottle from MJF. And so Garcia's just lying there bloody unconscious, and MJF says he'll send him to paradise on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought that like the line about the hair transplants from Turkey was a really like specific detail, so it made me laugh.
Right?
Like it was from Turkey. And then remember the crowd was like, it was an 80s sitcom. Like they were super reactive to like ooh, and just
it was kind of cool, but also almost distracting.
I found it amusing just because it's not normally what happens, and it's like they weren't piping in sounds. I don't think it's just
not.
The way this crowd was working. I thought Garcia sounded good, and I think it's a good idea that he gets to cut MJF off multiple times, and kind of like kudos to MJF also for letting this kid talk and take some pretty harsh shots at his expense, right? Like at this point, MJF's a made man. He doesn't have to worry.
He can take stuff like that.
So if he is actually willing to help elevate talent like Garcia in segments and in ring, then like
crazy they're saying MJF's in that spot. He's what, like 30 or something?
It's incredible added value to whatever the massive contract he signed is, right? Like if he's willing to help elevate others as well as being a top guy. So
for sure.
MJF is, I think, great looking like a coward for staying all the way up there and then like using a bottle to take him out when he gets there. And sort of smart and vicious because he's prepared, right? And willing to do that to him too. So again, my only problem is, does Garcia win?
And I feel like he has to.
If not,
I feel like he has to because then, like you're saying, if not, then
what? Because it's been stop, start, and this is by far the biggest start. So if they stop again, like I feel like
if they stop, that's it.
I'm someone who likes Garcia, and I'm gonna find it really hard after this, right? So MJF can take a loss. That's not a concern. It's if they're willing to do it, and I think you kind of have to, right?
You want to do anything Garcia ever, you have to.
I think so too. Yeah, what'd you think?
Yeah, so I was like going to start the show. Garcia sounded pretty good against MJF. Not exactly on par, but like as good as he could. And like getting to cut him off whenever, like you were saying, is kind of helping.
Yeah.
The crowd was quite entertaining here. They're oohing and ahhing pretty much everything.
Which
kind of enhanced this a little bit. The engagement was definitely fun. Garcia was good. Still to me, I can't fully buy him though. It's just like I like him, but he feels like still a ceiling to me for sure. I don't know, we'll see. I hope this all changes that perception, but I'm still unsure. Like, I think he should win, but honestly, if he doesn't, I don't know how much I care.
I agree. Like he needs this win. He needs it. I'm gonna pick him.
Yeah,
I think, but I'm not.
Yeah,
it's not a lock.
I like him, but I don't. I don't know. He just doesn't feel necessary to me. I don't know. We'll see where he goes. Right? Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Is it wrong to say? Probably mean, but like. He feels like an indie guy that's just trying to reach a little bit further than his grasp. And I don't know if that's mean or not, but
on a certain level,
right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ball shot from MJF was pretty sweet. And again, MJF's master heel, giving Garcia a good time here. So hopefully, like this works out. The match should deliver at least because Garcia's great in the ring. It's just there's something not there for sure. Then we get an interview with the Conglomeration and Ospreay. Briscoe, like it's really hard to recap.
Yeah. You know Briscoe, so you know what he's saying.
They probably posted it on social media if you want to find it. Like they pretty much always post his things in full.
He did say we're down to conglomerate, which I thought was a funny line.
He said that a few times. Yeah, I do enjoy that. He recounts the phone call with O'Reilly setting up this match, and he hypes Ospreay up with the usual verbiage. A lot of things rhyming with Bill and whatever.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny. The word of the day, stupendous, in honor of this combination with Ospreay. I can't take that word seriously ever since WrestleMania 38.
Oh, right.
The most stupendous WrestleMania in history.
It was, literally.
But I love this. Mark Briscoe is absolutely on point with this one. One of the more enjoyable ones as of late, I thought. I love it so much. It's a formula that doesn't get old. And Ospreay in the mix is never bad either.
Yeah, it's now a comedy staple of AEW, right? And it's like the Conglomeration are this fun little group that keep getting like guest stars, if you will, right? It seems like people just want to work with them in storyline. I'm saying even it's like they're fun, so let's go and join them for a week and see what. So that's kind of an interesting.
Yeah, and it gives Ospreay some guys to like
angle.
go up against Pax boys. The Packpool Combat Club.
And you can always have O'Reilly just take pinfalls all over the place. Is his role.
Yeah, credit to Authors of Wrestling for the Packpool Combat Club.
That's right.
Which is awesome.
Packpool Combat Club.
That's the thing now. So then we get, I don't know why, but I'm not gonna complain, Okada versus Fletcher for the Continental title.
My first note, remember, there's like a close-up of just a dude in the crowd looking wasted.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he was like struggling.
Yeah. So there's the running calf kick from Fletcher, knocks Okada off the apron, follows the suicide dive. Fletcher with like a swinging side slam for 2, kind of like the East River Crossing type deal. Aired crash neck breaker from Okada. Drop kick from Okada, flips off the fans. Fletcher counters the Rainmaker, drills Okada with the Michinoku for 2.
Yeah, he like leaps when he does it, right?
Yeah.
It looks
his
extra.
tombstone's also really good too, which I don't think he did here.
Everything's got a little extra, and it's almost a problem because his stuff looks so devastating that I know people are going to be like, "Oh, everyone kick." He hits all of these major things and people kick out, but it doesn't bother me.
Okada absolutely spikes him with the DDT on the floor.
Yep.
Brainbuster on the apron from Fletcher, which is pretty sweet. Pair of big thrust kicks from Fletcher. Running kick in the corner from Fletcher like usual. Goes for a superplex. Okada escapes over the top. Drop kicks Fletcher to the floor. Okada goes for a draping DDT, but Fletcher counters. Kind of brainbusters him on the top of the barricade. Like just kind of drops.
Yeah, it
looked
like awesome.
Tap.
I like.
Then he steps off a chair, does like a cannonball over the barricade. Backslide in a short arm layer from Okada. Not quite a Rainmaker, but similar effect, right?
Impact for sure.
Fletcher counters the Rainmaker twice over. After brief exchange, ends a half and half suplex and a tombstone for 2. Okada with a ripcord low blow after the ref's view is kind of obstructed. Then he nails a Rainmaker to pick up the win.
Yeah, I thought this match was excellent opening match, and like I know I'm a broken record. Fletcher's offense is awesome, and I just love watching him
I really enjoy his work.
And he seems to constantly have like some new high impact move that he adds, you know what I mean, along the way. Excellent back and forth match. Benefited even more, I thought, from a really vocal crowd this week. And it's weird because now that we've seen a bunch of Okada, right? Like I would say he doesn't hit a lot of huge stuff and he doesn't work a furious pace, but somehow really it works, right?
He's just still like really good.
I don't know if it's like,
and he's usually working with the right opponents.
Is it in-ring storytelling? Is it drama? I don't know what it is, but like, I don't feel like he works this incredible crazy rate, but like his stuff is good and his matches are good.
Yeah, what he does do is good. And he's flipping out the fan. He's doing some more character work now too, right? And like
it's like so it's really interesting for a top guy. I find his style is a little bit different. So he didn't get a ton of time in control. He was taking a lot of offense from Fletcher, as one tends to do, because Fletcher just has a million different things.
Yeah, a million miles an hour.
And I like Okada needing to cheat to sort of escape with the win.
Kind of helps out Fletcher.
But, I mean, to be fair, Fletcher needs to start stringing quality wins together before people start, like, pigeonholing him as the great match, no win guy, right? Like, that's what I don't want to have happen to him. Still, super strong start to the show.
Could seem like maybe taking Perry's belt or something.
And then I thought the post-match stare down with Takeshita and Okada is a good sign, right? Of our man being elevated, hopefully. So I like that idea.
Stellar TV match as expected. It was kind of out of the blue, but a quality defense for Okada. Fletcher gets another good outing, but like you said, we do need some of those wins because like there's Ricochet. He had matches like Ospreay and MJF.
That's the fear, right?
Yeah, right. And like that did, to be fair, that kind of happened for Swerve for a while.
Yep.
So we'll see, right? Because like Swerve he ate a lot of losses last year before he kind of started getting big with Lana. And
so the precedent's there, and they can do that with Fletcher easily, right?
Yeah, it's just you kind of have to be careful.
Yep, and then Fletcher's not as good a character as Swerve either, so
there's
that
part's too,
not
right? There. And he doesn't have like his Nana. He does have Callus, but like it's not the same thing. I love Callus, but it's not the same. A lot of great action though, some killer spots. Both these guys are great, no surprise. Okada on the back pedal a lot, but like Fletcher's offense is fantastic. Some close falls that were good, even though he was never going to win. Okada is just quality as always, and cheating at the end gives a bit of an out for Fletcher in the loss, so that's good too. Also announced during this was Continental Title 4-Way at All Out. Qualifiers are Briscoe versus Archer, Cassidy versus Bad Apple, and Takeshita versus Mordos, which is absurd.
Impossible to predict any of those.
Yeah. First, Takeshita versus Mordos is insane. I will seek that out, which I did.
Yeah.
And 2 all predictable matches. It's as expected, Briscoe, Cassidy, Takeshita. So if it's Briscoe, Cassidy, Takeshita, Okada, that's a killer 4-way, by the way.
Yes, it is. With Briscoe taking the pin.
Probably. Which is great for your ROH World Champion.
Yeah, right. True. I forget, man. I forget it exists. I forget who has any belts.
Who are the tag champs? Go.
Kingdom?
Nope. Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara.
Oh, come on. You gave me no shot at that
Who
one.
are the 6-man champs?
It's a fun game. Cage of Agony?
Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs.
Damn it. I'm on fire.
Wait.
And I'm a wrestling nerd, right? Like, I consume more wrestling than probably 90% of the world, and I have no idea what's going on.
Wait, I want to do the last two then.
This is
we
fun.
know TV titles with Atlantis Jr. because Fletcher lost it.
You just told me Briscoe, or I might have got that wrong.
That one's true. Okay. We know Athena still has her belt. That one's easy.
The only one I would have got.
Who is the women's TV belt?
Oh, wait. Billy Starks.
Red Velvet.
No, I thought I had.
Wait, okay, last one. What about the Pure title? That one's fallen into obscurity.
Pure title. Who's even on that show? Like, I want to say Wheeler Yuta, but no.
He lost it to Moriarty.
Oh, Moriarty. Wow. Talk about...
Oh, that would have been so good for the quiz.
It would.
Oh, that would have been so fun. I'll revisit this in like 2 months, and then you'll forget again. You'll forget again in 2 months. I guarantee it.
I am out of touch with.
Anyways,
can I just say, poor freaking Athena. She's awesome.
Had that belt for like at least 2 years.
She finally got her character sorted out. She's an awesome heel, and why does she have to be mired in obscurity on that show? Get her on main roster Dynamite. Let's go.
It's been too long.
Way too long.
But yeah, last thing is, even this is last minute card stuff. If Takeshita somehow managed to win the title, I swear I wouldn't get angry. Like
I'll be okay.
I'd be okay. Like I wouldn't even be peeved at that. Like honestly, if they chose to do that, I wouldn't even be mad. Like I wouldn't hate it or anything.
It's fine.
You could like I'm
try
okay
it.
with that.
See what happens.
I don't even care. Like you could totally do that. And I don't mind.
We like Takeshita.
I feel like it'd be all right. Like I wouldn't get mad.
Nope.
Then I called this swerve thing because I wasn't sure what it was at first.
Mm-hmm.
He shows photos of his childhood and talks about whatever he did in the home and whatever. His family had to move out and they got foreclosed or something. And now he signed a new contract, which has been documented in the news cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to buy back the property. So not really anything storyline here, but I'm happy for Swerve because this is really cool for him. And because there's been a lot of talk about how big his contract is, so I'm glad he got to be able to do this. Good for him.
Yeah. So my opinions here were before we saw the final segment of the show, right? So I'll stick with.
It's funny because I knew you were saying it to me, and I knew what happened already. So it was just funny hearing.
So I continue to be fascinated by Swerve's ability. He's like kind of meandering in between vicious heel and like thoughtful babyface, but it's somehow working, right? So in my opinion, that takes a special talent because a lot of people do that. I'd be annoyed, right?
He is walking the line,
but he's like a complex character, so I kind of dig that. And so is Hangman at this point, right?
Hangman's always done that really well too. So both of them together is just
two complex characters with a super deep story. So that's a really interesting match.
That's why this is going to be like a cornerstone feud.
And then we'll get to the final segment, which even ramps things up.
Oh yeah, so sends it off.
I like this in the moment, and then knowing what happens later, I like
this side of Swerve, and I like as a real moment. I am happy for him because that's great. Then we get Jamie Hayter versus Robin Renegade.
And I go, Robin Renegade has a pretty cool look, and you're like, she looks so generic. I thought she looked kind of cool.
I know. I thought you were talking about Hayter looking like Poison Ivy stuff.
Well, Hayter looks cool too.
Yeah.
She's got, even when she makes her entrance, right, she's got some presence to her, which I've always
she doesn't
enjoyed.
have bangs anymore, so that's good.
You are anti-bangs.
They're just not good.
Yeah.
Especially watching New Girl so much. It's just like,
We've started watching New Girl. We always end our nights watching some sort of sitcom together, and I like New Girl, so got him into it.
New Girl's good.
He's anti-bangs on Jess and
Cece.
Cece,
especially Cece. Hers are like, because it's like the straight cut off, and it's just like, it's really bad.
He's anti-bangs. This
Emily watches that. Schmidt's awesome. I love
He loves Schmidt. I'm a Nick Miller guy, but
I love
he's
Nick
a grumpy
too.
old man like me.
I like Nick too, but Schmidt just like the terms he coins.
The dynamic between those two is beautiful.
I just love what he comes up with. Like secretary is just hilarious. Anyways, running double knees in the corner from Renegade. I wanted to call her Robin because I feel like technically Renegade I feel stupid saying that over.
The Renegade was what a WCW creation.
That was the knockoff Warrior.
The Warrior one. Warrior. It's like the Temu Ultimate Warrior.
Pretty much.
No offense, Temu. Don't cancel me.
Hayter caught Renegade midair with the power slam. Uranagi backbreaker trifecta from Hayter, and like she does like
the hate breaker, please.
Yeah.
There's too much of that.
Yeah.
Too much of the haterade.
Haterade's funny, okay?
Yeah.
Because Gatorade.
Yeah.
But like Hate Breaker's unnecessary.
Yeah. We were talking about Gator gum that you didn't get to experience as
I was looking in the library the other day on my spare. I want to get a cereal straw.
A cereal straw? What does that mean?
Like you could drink milk and then the straw's edible.
Ew. That's
like
gross.
Straw made a cereal.
Excellent.
No, that sounds good.
No.
Sounds awesome.
All right.
She hits like the new Haterade, which is like, so it's like hammerlock and she has the arm hooked. But then she lets go of the hammerlock, hooks the other arm, and then just hits a short arm lariat.
Yeah. I thought it looked fine.
It looks fine, but it's like, it's just kind of lame. But it's clearly just because Okada.
Yeah.
Because it used to be the Rainmaker, let's be real. But it was the solid squash. Well, I just want to see her in something more substantial to really judge her post-return. Like, really see where the ring rust is at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't love Saraya and Harley watching backstage. That implies this feud is over.
Yep.
Or isn't over, sorry. And they did have a thing on Rampage or Collision where they had a segment, so this isn't over. And also, it was really bad. I didn't like it.
So, yeah, another decisive win for Hayter over a jobber as she's kind of making her way back to AEW. I mean, if it's me, I probably have her look even more dominant, but whatever. That's just kind of
I just want to have her in some actual match and see where she's at.
Hayter hit her signature stuff, picked up a win, and yeah, unfortunately, she's tangled in a web with Saraya, which is never anything we're
never
looking
where
forward
you want to be ever.
No.
At all, let alone when you're returning.
Correct.
Roddy Strong interview. Christopher Daniels says the ref didn't see it until after the match and when she stepped over it. The rope break, that being.
Oh, yeah.
Hook comes in, says Roddy's the point. He'll give him an FTW title match tonight. Roddy says he won't fight him in Milwaukee. He'll call a shot soon. Hook will be the first to know. This is fine. Match should be good, and because it'll likely be FTW rules, since it's weird because FTW title used to just be that unsanctioned title that they would just do random crap with Cage and Starks. They never once did FTW rules until like halfway into Hook's run.
Right.
I think probably when he feuded with Perry was just before when he started. Because remember he had the match with RVD.
Yeah.
And like whatnot. So yeah, but point being, I'd be interested to see Roddy in that kind of match. I feel like I don't think I've ever really seen Roddy in that kind of no DQ type thing, except for probably when he was in War Games.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that'll be interesting. The match will be good. It's just I don't care.
So I find it just to take a look at what happened. So a referee made a mistake. So Roddy just gets to call his shot. So is that the new precedent going forward where, because the refs make a lot of mistakes and now it's basically like it's money in the bank for you if they make a mistake?
More so like because Hook's offering it, because Hook's, fighting babyface. I don't think it's like a general rule.
I hope not, because it seems kind of strange. But regardless, I want Roddy to win this title from Hook. I don't think it'll happen, but
I don't, because that just seems no.
But like Hook was intriguing to start in AEW because I remember I was like, he's cool, and you were like, meh.
Oh, I remember the hype around him was insane to the point where I didn't care.
But the more I see, the less I'm impressed, which is unfortunate. And again, as I always say with AEW, considering some of the talent that can't get on TV, I think Hook's a little overexposed, in my opinion.
A little bit.
Right? And, he's small, he can't talk.
He can talk sometimes.
The more he talks, the less.
That's true.
You know what I mean? The mystique is kind of disappearing a little bit. And his in-ring style's fine.
It's fun, but it's limited.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Jericho did not do him any favors.
If he's not Taz's kid, right? He's not in that spot, I don't think. So that always kind of bugs me.
That is true. That's fair. I do think there's something you can do with him, though. Because, that match with Joe, they were onto something.
Loved that. Yeah.
They were onto something. And I don't think it was just a fluke.
No.
But, they just need to find... There's something to do with him. I agree. He's overexposed, and they probably, maybe you just keep working on him on Collision. Because Collision, it's definitely not the main show, right? So maybe you start working on him there. Because then I don't also have to watch it all the time.
Yeah.
Just kind of have him bounce around. Because, that Joe match, they were onto something there. And then they just ripped it out from under him with the Jericho stuff. Yeah. So they just need to, I don't know what you do with him. But
when he was the silent, cocky kid just sort of eating in every segment, he was kind of interesting and cool. And then it's just, I don't know.
Even that, he showed he could be a fiery babyface. It's just they need to, I don't know how you work with him.
Yeah, he's kind of plateaued for me. Though. I guess so.
I don't know. Anyways, Mox and Shafir arrive. People get beat up. Mox comes face to face with the Elite, and he says to Perry, it made me chuckle. I don't care if people say you're a sweet kid.
Yeah, that was funny.
But that just confuses me further, because now that definitely makes me think there's something going on between Mox and the Elite. Because, I'm not sure what, but, nobody compliments Perry. Nobody.
I thought it was sort of more like Moxley just doing mind games.
Maybe, but, still, then what's the angle there?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Regardless, I don't understand. I was
or
thinking,
that
like,
he's so evil that what Perry's doing, he doesn't even like. It's not a blip on the radar, and he still.
I was
thinks
thinking like
he's
maybe
a
even
nice
Perry
kid.
as Mox as a mercenary on Darby, but that doesn't seem like something Mox would do unless he would have to have a personal stake in it, and I don't know what that would be.
Despite it being play, I do find it kind of cool that like a woman is his heater almost, right?
I do
For Mox,
like it.
like,
I'm giving it a chance.
Killing people as he walks through.
I'll give her a chance.
Me too.
Because I think her leaguing up with Moxley does boost her profile right away.
And if you're not up on FNS lingo, play is Marina Shafir. But from the fight and play days.
Let's fight. Back when they were Baszler's lackeys, they had let's fight, let's play shirts, and she was play.
So I thought she looked kind of cool. I do just think killing she does, people. So
they also beat up the Outrunners. Actually got a win on Collision, and then they got beat up,
of course,
backstage by Mox and Shafir because they have some woman with them. I don't know her name.
The Outrunners do. Yeah, I know.
But I don't know her name.
Yeah.
I did see some point like when Darby was feuding with the Elite in that feud, he was saying like it's their company or whatever, and that's maybe Moxley saying it's not your company anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he means by that, Moxley per se.
Yeah.
But again, like it's just very interesting to me, and you could make the argument like we haven't gotten a lot, so it's like, and coming up here it'll be more of the same. But to me, it's like it's not that they're not giving me enough. It's just intriguing.
Yeah.
The intrigue is there, right?
Yes.
So it's very interesting.
So, and it's one of those things where if it's previous WWE, you're very much worried that the payoff is not going to be worth it, right?
Yeah.
But AEW, I'm hoping that when we get to whatever it is with Mox, that it's not disappointing.
Yeah,
right?
and if they're trying another major story, which I think they need to do more of, I'm here for it because they do need to because that's sometimes what they field criticism for is like the lack of storylines or like.
So yes, but I will talk about it on Raw. So I've been under the impression lately that WWE main roster, specifically Raw, because I watch it every week.
That's when you're on,
is doing a better job of long-term storytelling. But I almost think that Raw's doing too many long-term stories at the same time. So I always say
what you have Judgment Day right now.
Yes. Pure whatever.
Pure Fusion crap.
Yep.
Is Pete done Sheamus kind of something?
Kind of lengthy as well. The women's tag.
It's long term because it dates back to Butch.
The women's tag stuff is the same 3 teams just circling around each other. Right. So to me, I want a couple really awesome long term stories,
and then it's more short term, like a revolving door of short term.
And I'll talk about it later. It was my favorite thing. Like a short term thing comes up, like Sami Zayn and Gunther, which is believable, realistic.
And it's a feud that only really goes back to earlier this year.
Right, and it's nothing that's been. It's just like I want a title shot. You know what I mean? So
Agreed.
I think Raw's suffering a little bit of too many stories are taking far too long to get to wherever they're going.
Right, it's a lot of stuff going on, not a lot of payoffs.
So for a while, I was like, Judgment Day was an awesome story, right? But I don't need every story to be going on because it starts to feel like, and I'm kind of stomping on my Raw notes later, but it kind of feels like a copy and paste exercise some weeks, right?
Sure.
So that gets a little bit. It feels like, am I watching the same show as last week, or is it like what's different this week, sort of thing?
Yeah. So then we actually hear from Mox in the ring again, coming into the New Japan theme, which I do really like it just because, again, like I was saying last week, it just does have a different tone to it than Wild Thing. Like I think Wild Thing was a cool thing to do for a while, but I do like that this is different, and I do just like the deeper, slow tone of this one. And so I don't know, I do like he has his New Japan Trons now too. I noticed they changed the screens. Don't act like you paid attention. Don't act like you noticed.
I noticed the theme because you've been pointing it out. So I kind of noticed that was different. And you pointed out in the moment. I wouldn't have noticed on my own.
Because, last week they did the New Japan theme with his usual AEW Trons, but this time they used this New Japan video, which they also did at Forbidden Door when we were there.
And you told me, so I noticed.
Yeah. Anyways, Moxley talks about how tough Darby is and how he kicked his ass a couple years back. When he was a kid, nobody knew, and Darby smiled after that beating. He said he knew Darby was special. He still thinks that. He plays the game right, and he does the things the right way with reckless abandon. He says Darby knows it's a privilege to perform the show, and it's not something you're entitled to, and how quickly some forget that. He said he's not an impatient man, but time is running out. He says he doesn't want to apply pressure, but he will, and he says he just wants to talk.
Yeah, your thoughts?
I don't know. Like, Moxley's great at keeping, again, putting Darby over in character.
That was my first
amazing job of doing that always. And there is history with them because I remember they had a couple of really good matches. He's done a good here. It just did not make it clear for me. And that's not even a bad thing. It's just, I'm dying to know.
It didn't push anything forward. and it's clear that that's the plan, because I thought Taz was really going on about how like, oh, we don't, like, wonder what's going on or whatever.
Desperately need Darby to show up next week.
So it's clearly just, like,
once Darby shows up, shit will hit the fan.
Hopefully we'll find out what's going on.
So I'm super interested to see where it goes. Like it's just, there's so many ways this can go, and I'm very interested to see where it goes. And so I'm enjoying the use of his new theme. And I'm just, I don't know. It's got me interested for sure.
And I'm liking the Shafir just standing there looking tough beside him.
She's already looking better. I mean, she hasn't wrestled.
She hasn't done a thing.
There's
her presentation is better.
That's true. Yeah, this is easily like the thing that's getting
and
me
to be honest, it's not much different. It's just kind of Mox lending her credibility.
It kind of is, yeah, but
she's still doing the I'm a shooter.
That's still good.
Deal.
So,
yep, it's working.
This is definitely the thing that's got me most interested. Like last week, I was super intrigued. This is the thing I was waiting to see, right? Which is good. That's what you want.
And I think that's why we're different from some podcasts, because we're trying to be objective, right? And we're not going to forever hate Marina Shafir because we really, really did rip on her last run. But I would love everybody to be awesome. So if I like what they're doing, I'll tell you I like what they're doing. I don't care if I've hated them for 10 years. If they start doing good stuff, I'll tell you.
Well, I hated Christian.
Right.
Or the Gun Club. I used to hate them so much.
Exactly.
So much. Oh, they used to suck so much. I hated them. But yeah, the stuff will change. And so hopefully this does benefit Shafir, because so far so good.
Yep.
And I'm just interested to see where this goes further. And I bet I need Darby to show up, because I need crap to happen.
Here he is.
Yeah. Moxley. Anyways, then we get a learning tree interview. It's basically just Jericho still bitching about Cassidy ruining his $7,000 jacket or whatever. They do actually show that clip from 2020, so that was nice.
Because you see people who aren't there anymore.
Yeah. Keith's gonna beat up Cassidy in the all-out qualifier thing. He doesn't.
With Ortiz flopping like a fish out of water.
Only notable part of this was the flashback back when we had good old Santana Ortiz. And Ortiz flopping around the ring made me chuckle. I miss them a lot. I miss Private
I thought this was the formulaic learning tree segment, and I don't really care about any of them. So it's just like, we got through it and move on.
I didn't like the actual segment, but I did like seeing the flashback, because I miss those guys. That was... Ortiz is funny, man. That was good.
Ortiz was hilarious. They were a great team.
Good old days, and the parking lot brawl was that year too.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I actually didn't know that was a 5-star match.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Meltzer.
I loved it.
I love it. I'm just surprised that kind of thing would get a 5-star.
Yeah,
I need to watch that sometime. I just get AEW on a service, so I can just start going through a back catalog.
Okay, once we get rid of the network for when they're on Netflix, frees up some cash.
I'm curious what will happen when they're on Netflix.
Yeah, me too.
Anyways. Then we get Mariah May defending the AEW Women's World Title against Nyla Rose, because this is the rite of passage for any worthwhile women's champion in AEW, successfully defending against Nyla Rose.
To be fair, at least Nyla Rose has the former champion pedigree, I guess. But like, where's she been? What's she done? How does she earn a title shot? But anyways, I kind of like Nyla, and I think they could use her more than they do, because she could be a monster in that division, right?
I do think Nyla's pretty solid. Never been my favorite, but like,
she's a good monster for a women's division.
Sure. Running crossbody from Rose, diving shotgun dropkick from May gets a 1 count. Running shotgun for another 1 count from May. Headbutt collision, cornerback elbow, and a big lariat from Rose for 2. Rose rolls through on a May crossbody attempt, hits a world's strongest slam. May trips Rose on steel steps and hits a nice running knee. And she doesn't eventually pick up the win with the Storm Zero, does May. So May retains here.
One thing that really surprised me is when they're like face to face near the beginning.
Yeah, right. They're like
the same size. They're the same height,
which is crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know if May is really tall or.
Yeah, I just feel like because Rose does have like a bigger stature, right?
For sure.
And I just assumed she would be taller.
Yes, I thought so too.
Interesting. And it was solid. Not amazing or anything. May's always good. I think Rose is pretty solid. Not amazing, but like she's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good as well.
But she always gets these random title shots, and I'm saying she's the female Lance Archer.
A little bit. Like, hey, we need a big person for this match. Dust her off and put her in.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah, I thought it was good and given a little more time than I expected. And again, it's just the former champ thing that I guess helps it. I thought she looked good using her power advantage, and May's just really talented and crafty, and she just had to find a way to win. And I thought it was a good TV match again. I think we can do more with Nyla Rose than we are right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
I thought it was a decent title defense, but didn't need to be one.
Right.
You know what I mean? Could have been a TV match and would have been the same effect.
Yeah.
Then we get a Peraza vignette. She's sitting on throne or something. She was talking about how the bull rope match with Rosa Collision was supposed to be her moment. Now she needs a reset or something like that. I didn't get all of it. But hopefully it means a new direction for her. She's facing Shida. on Collision, which is not good for her because Shida has a title match. So,
according to my quick research, Nyla Rose is 5'7", Mariah May is 5'8".
I'm taller than them.
So Mariah May is.
Or I'm like,
yeah, you're
basically the same height as May.
Yeah,
maybe a little taller. I think because with
so
shoes,
5'8",
last I checked, I'm
5'8" for a woman. She's pretty tall, so that makes sense. Yeah. So sorry, getting back to Purrazzo. It's funny because hadn't I just made a reference to her being dead?
It was funny because I knew this was coming. You said that earlier, and so that's why I thought it was funny.
Right. I was like, and apparently Deonna Purrazzo is just dead because I really like her. So please tell me that this is her turning heel and embracing the Virtuosa thing. I feel like she has been
going kind of heel with the Rosa feud, but I can't.
She is so good and hasn't been able to show that at all since joining AEW because they put her in like a lame baby. She can be a good baby face too. Don't get me wrong. Just not. But she's a way better heel when she's just like, she almost can do like the Gunther thing where she's just like, I'm just better than you in the ring, and that's all there is to it. And so everything else doesn't matter, right? So I'm hoping that's where we're going.
Then we can hear from Mercedes Moné. Yay!
Yep.
She breaks by a title defense for New Japan the other week. She's shifting focus to Shida. She appears on the Tron. Fallen Angel says Camille's barred from ringside. That was all.
I thought it was pretty generic stuff.
It was fine because it felt like it was just to get Camille out of the match, and there was really nothing to it.
And there's something about Moné's cadence or something, like the emphasis or the pace she speaks is just off. And I don't know.
That's supposed to be.
I don't think she's savvy enough that she's doing it on purpose to be a heel because it's more off-putting than like heely to me.
Okay,
but anyways,
that's fair.
It's fine.
Then we get the Elite with the promo backstage, Scapegoat and the Bucks. Perry talks about being there when Danielson debuted at All Out 2021, and he talks about having to change everything about himself when he was gone from AEW, having to sell his own merch and do everything himself in Japan. And a veteran like Danielson could have helped him, but he didn't because all Danielson cares about is his fairy tale ending. There's something else I didn't catch. And then Matt Jackson says they'll do anything to make sure the AEW World title ends up back where it belongs, which is in the Elite's camp.
So I like this because
I really like this from Perry.
I like Perry's heel logic, right? Because heel logic to me is like it makes sense to him
from a certain point of view, but not objectively.
Whereas like Drew McIntyre is just always right about Punk. So this is like heel logic.
I agree.
Drew McIntyre is just logic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is like, to me, this is the axe I have to grind, and it might not make sense to everybody, but because you're a bad person, this is
I do like it because Danielson's like the veteran who's helping everyone, trying to like help everyone get better, but you didn't help me, right? And so from heel logic, I think that works perfectly for the scapegoat character.
And it gives him like extra motivation beyond just a title match, right?
And a retiring.
It's now it's a little personal from his point of view because he thinks you could have helped him and you didn't. Even though I don't know why he would or why that would be an expectation. But again, this is a heel's flawed logic. And
well, Danielson's this generous veteran, right? He should be helping
I guess so,
a young guy like Perry, like from his perspective.
Yep.
Ignoring the fact that like, there's a whole brawl-in thing. Like, ignoring the fact that Perry's like a douche.
Right.
In kayfabe.
Right.
But yeah, so I really like this. I think the scapegoat character is just such a stroke of genius from Perry. He's been really, really good since he came back.
Agree.
Which is like, I think he's in the category for most improved because we've mentioned it before. Like another one you want to talk about not liking because his heel run last year pre CM Punk sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Like remember his heel work when he first turned heel on
We
Hook?
were not a fan.
That sucked, man. He's in most improved. I also had a question mark with Bo Dallas because like this is a step above what he's done in the past.
Yeah, we'll see. I need some more in ring from him to be.
But like because Perry with the Beethoven entrance, remember? And like, sucked so bad.
It wasn't good.
Anyways, now we get to our main event match, which is Ospreay, Cassidy, and Kyle O'Reilly. They're down to Conglomerate against the Pack Bull
Conglomerate,
Club, against the dubbed Pack Bull Combat Club, which is Pac, Yuta, and Claudio. We got Danielson on commentary. There's a fast back and forth between Pac and Ospreay, whetting the appetite for All Out. Pac has Cassidy in the Brutalizer, but Ospreay breaks it up. Fastball special from the Blackpool Boys, not the Packpool Boys, because he was not in this move.
Fair.
But they hit that to Cassidy, which is like that assisted splash. With Kyle O'Reilly breaking the pin. Ospreay hot take flurry, various outside dives from multiple people. Pac goes for the poison run on the stage again, like he pulled last week, but Ospreay avoids it and shoves him off the stage. Tope dive, and that is the last we see of them.
Mm-hmm.
Cassidy will tilt roll DDT to Claudio. Stundog Millionaire KTFO combo to Claudio from the Conglomeration Boys, followed by a beach break for 2. Alternating kicks from the Conglomeration Boys to Claudio. You prevents the high-low attempt, or aka total elimination. Yuta and Cassie brawl ringside. Kyle O'Reilly gets Kyle in a guillotine. He eventually powers out and drops him with an uppercut. And Blackpool boys beat O'Reilly, swinging him into a drop kick.
Because O'Reilly is there to eat pinfalls.
Unfortunately,
it feels like.
Danielson comes down to celebrate. Elite attack Blackpool from behind. The tables are eventually turned, and the Elite escape the ring. Claudio gets a mic and says they just made the biggest mistake of their lives. And he's been in the mood collecting gold lately because he has the trios titles, and he went for Okada. He had that trophy from CMLL. So he challenges them to a tag title match at All Out. And Danielson says that everyone's been frustrated with the Elite. Perry's going to get his head kicked in. Then we see Ospreay and Pac brawling backstage, bringing Buster Front Pac on some road cases, which is pretty killer.
Awesome, yeah. Kind of lazy booking to get a tag team match.
It is, but like it's kind of expected in this hasty build to the second show. At least with this year, we had an extra week because last year it was just straight week to week.
Yeah.
So this, I feel like, it does result in a lot of predictable matches, but on paper, it's a really good match.
And this match itself was an entertaining match. It wasn't a top tier main event because you know who's winning this match, basically, right? And Pac and Ospreay sort of being removed from it.
I didn't love that.
I'm okay with it because we're going to see them. You know, I'm not a huge fan of people who are just about to face each other. Yeah,
that's fair. But I would like them to be involved with at least the other people in the finish or something. You know what I mean?
But I thought,
Black Arrow to O'Reilly.
A fun main event, but not amazing for sure. And really, the key of this show is what comes after this.
The Pac-Bull Comic Club as a team to me is still just so odd.
Yeah.
Because he's clearly not
in Blackpool. It bothers you. I don't mind it.
It's just weird to me. Like, I like them all, but it's just weird. I think it's because I know it's how thrown together it is.
It is.
And it's just...
No real explanation.
Yeah.
No real explanation why Mox is out yet, and no real explanation why Pac is sort of filling his shoes yet.
Yeah, and like he's clearly not in it because Roberts introduced them as separately, right?
Yes, he did.
So it's very weird to me. Pac and Ospreay both look good, and they had some good tag work with the two kind of duos. Both those teams would work to bolster the tag division for me. I guess Blackpool guys are kind of already in there, but O'Reilly and Cassidy, I'd gladly do it because they keep busting out the total elimination move a la Undisputed Era.
Right.
A lot in like the multi-man tags they've been in. So I feel like it's worth exploring for them as a team. They had like the alternating kicks. It's like a tag thing. They have like the Stun Dog Millionaire, the KTFO. So I'd like to we need some more stuff, right? Yes. So I'm very interested to see that. That reminds me, FTR GYV is on Collision next week. So we might have to do that.
And people love Cassidy. It gives Cassidy something different to do.
It gets O'Reilly some prominence.
And the combination of like O'Reilly, who's a pretty just serious like MMA style in-ring guy, and then you've got the kind of silly, not silly, but you know what I mean, less
laid
serious.
Back, right? Yeah. I thought it was a little lame that Pac and Ospreay brawled away, so they weren't factoring in the ending. But the Brainbuster backstage was pretty killer.
It was.
Tag title match made for all it works too. It's predictable, but it should be pretty good on paper. Like both teams are good, so I'm interested in that for sure. They won't win, but keep the Blackpool boys in the division, like I said, because it'll. Like, we need some more in the ranks.
100%.
You know what I mean? We need to get back there. I will never forgive them for dropping the ball at that tournament this year because that was disappointing.
And get GYV and push them too, and let's develop this.
And keep FTR in also. Like, easy money. Do something with Private Party, please.
Yep.
Like, it's not that hard. And then, interestingly enough, Mox is nowhere to be found during all this, even when Blackpool are down. So, it's weird. It's not like they haven't done this before where someone will do their own thing in Blackpool. And that's kind of what's cool about that group is, like, they kind of come and go.
Yeah.
So, it's just interesting because Mox is like different, and he's also got not that he's just doing his own thing, but he has play with him.
And it sounds like almost maybe there'll be more people as a possibility. I don't know.
Right? Like it's so I don't know because it's so we know nothing. Then we get to the Swerve Hangman contract sign, which is our ending angle for the week, heading into All Out. Swerve comes out with Nana, and we wait Hangman's arrival. His music hits, nothing. His music hits again, nothing. Then we see Hangman on the Tron, and he's in Swerve's home.
Yeah.
He walks through the house while talking about how bad of a person Swerve is, how rough his upbringing must have been. He commented on the low ceilings and said how Swerve's dad must not have loved him much. I think implying that like he beat him or something like that.
I think so. Something like that.
He said his dad must regret bringing him into this world. He says the world would have been so much better if he hadn't been in it, which is a crazy statement.
And I even like, I don't know, I think it was at the beginning, you may not have touched on it, where he's basically like, he's smart, right? So he's like, why do I go to a contract signing for a match we all know is going to happen? It's basically like, I know you're occupied and you were stupid enough to tell me about this house. So I made some evil plans pretty quickly. And I think that's cool.
That is true. During all this, a couple times you see Hangman's holding a jerry can. You can hear him pouring gasoline around. He comes out front and sits in like this comfy chair that
I like
he
that
set out there.
Diabolical guy took the time to like, maybe he brought it out from the house, right?
Yeah, right.
But just
either way,
I like it because he's like, I want to make this as dramatic as possible, so I'll take 20 minutes to set things up.
So he sits in the chair with his back to the house, and he said he wanted to burn Swerve's world to the ground. He says Swerve will beg for his mercy, and he will not grant it. Swerve had to say goodbye to his title, and on Saturday, he'll have to say goodbye to his joy and happiness. But he says he'll give him some practice tonight because he has to say goodbye to Swerve's house. Lights the match, and he burns his house.
Oh, yeah, and he just sits there and not even watches it because it's behind his back.
But it looks
what an image.
Amazing.
Yeah,
oh
fantastic.
My God. And fans are chanting and said, this is awesome. They chanted, this is arson.
Yeah. Amazing. This is just...
Oh, amazing.
This is a fantastic way to end a show, for a go-home show. And
that's a moment.
This is like becoming an all-time feud, right, with these guys. And this is another way to sort of put a chapter in this. Well, because me, the guy who doesn't remember anything, it'll be like, remember when Hangman burned? Oh, yeah, that was like, I will always remember this, right? And it's just, these two can just carry this on, as we've said, for years and years and years.
You can just keep
circle back around to
in
things.
different ways.
So I thought Hangman was fantastic. Like I said, the forethought to be like, you're going to the contract signing, you idiot. This match is happening. I don't need to be there. I'm going to go torture you. I also thought Swerve did a really good job of selling, like when he's on his knees, basically in tears. And I also love the detail of him not running out like an idiot, like he's going to get there in time to do anything.
He can't.
So I don't think maybe
some people... because he was like throwing the table and whatever, and like he was kind of raging whenever.
But he knows he can't do anything about it.
Yeah, he's not there. He's not going to get there in time, right?
So,
and I think you might as well just see it at least, right?
And I think Hangman played it perfectly. Amazing. And it was just super dramatic. And like,
it reminds me of when Orton burned Bray's compound, but like way better.
And it's fitting for the nature of this feud. And Swerve invaded his house when the tables were turned.
There, right?
So there's on so many levels. It's such an amazing segment. I loved it, and it'll be on the list for like segment or whatever of the year, right? For me, because I thought this like just captivating. The opposite of you picking up your phone, I would drop whatever I was doing to check this out, right? So I thought it was terrific.
Absolutely. A quality go home segment for sure. Peak heel Hangman. I love the promo we cut walking through Swerve's house, and like just even the callback of being in Swerve's house when Swerve did that to him, and also the Swerve's house line, I guess. And then he burned it, and I think it's hilarious how demented that is. Like that Swerve going into his house last year and talking to his child and like everything. It's this all this has pushed him so far to the edge that he's come to the point where he's okay burning another man's house, which is like, it's so funny. And this whole time, I feel like most of the people have been saying Hangman's the heel despite Swerve invading his home and Swerve doing these things. And now we finally reached the point
clearly defined rules.
Hangman's revenge has become unjustified.
Yeah.
Because like the whole thing was, I think, like despite Hangman being justified and being angry at Swerve, eventually it's like his obsession will push him to be the heel because he's going too far. And eventually then this is that point, right? Because like even last week with what Swerve was saying to him, it's like the lines are kind of blurred, and now it's like definitively like he burned a man's house.
Yes, and just sat there and let it burn behind him.
I don't know how they pulled it off. If they actually burned a house, or like there's some trickery here. It looked great.
It looked awesome.
It ramps up the feud tenfold, and the cage match should be an epic one. And dare I say, I think Hangman has a decent shot at winning because like he hasn't won yet, and that's something.
Yeah. So I haven't really thought about it.
Regardless, I thought this was a great way to end the show. Super memorable, and I love Hangman. He's just insane.
He did a great job here. Yep, super convincing, awesome.
I'll add it to this.
I just did on mine as well. Great stuff. So I guess overall this week, that final segment really boosts things up for me if I have to grade this show. Sorry, I'm just kind of skimming back.
I don't know. It's weird. I'm typing Hangman burns Swerve's house.
Right. So let's see. What did I like on here? Okada Fletcher was awesome. The final segment was awesome. The main event was okay. The women's match was okay. I'm gonna go with
Garcia segment.
I'm gonna go with a B. There was no match that I thought, oh, that's not true. I could almost go B+. I'll stick with B, close to B+ though. Yeah. Good show.
I'll probably go B+, honestly. I thought the opening match was really good.
Certainly ended on a high note.
Opening segment was pretty strong. I really enjoy all the mock stuff, even though it's like small. True. I think it's just really well done, and it just the intrigue is a very important aspect for sure. Hater was fine. Monet was fine. Two women's matches is surprising, even though one of
Oh,
them
good point.
one of them was just a squash, but
Right.
still. And so the other women's match, May and Rose, was solid. Main event was pretty good. I like the Perry promo a lot too, and the main event segment is a fantastic way to end the show. Really banner stuff there. So yeah, I'll go with the B plus. And
Yeah, so
definitely,
I feels like some of the outside the ring stuff was pretty strong.
ending on a strong note, like that's really important because like that's what you remember.
What a strong note to end on too, like
sure.
an all-time strong note. Yeah, very good show. All right, so now we will shift gears, give Jack a break from leading the segment, and we'll go into some trivia that we like to call off the top of his head. All right, so this week I don't know why I had this idea, but we're going.
I don't know why you have any ideas.
That's true. It's hard to come up with any we haven't done, and maybe there some like FNS enthusiast, if there is any out there, might be like, "Well, you've done this topic like 6 times."
You're cheating.
I don't keep track. I don't go back and look. I just do what I do.
That is true. You do. That's your disclaimer.
It's MJF's highest rated matches, so 15 of them. I thought what we'll start with is if you want to rhyme any off that you know are there, I'll eliminate them, right? And then I'll give you like if there's any left you don't get, I can give you like what event it was at and if it was a certain stipulation match. So this is AI generated, so it could be a disaster. What are some of his top matches?
Okay, easy one to bang on is MJF Danielson Iron Man match.
16. That is number 1.
Okay, that's what I figured.
So it is gone.
I'm gonna go MJF Darby Full Gear.
MJF Darby Allin Full Gear is match number what year?
2021.
That is match number 5.
Okay. MJF Cody Revolution 2020.
MJF Cody Rhodes Revolution 2020 is number 9. Good job. It's like we're playing Family Feud.
Let me think. Pillars 4-Way from Double or Nothing 2023.
Double or Nothing 2023.
I don't know. I just know that was a notable one.
It is not on here.
MJF Cole All In.
MJF Cole All In. What year?
Last year.
2023 is correct. That is number 4.
Okay. What has he done? How recent is this? Like,
the oldest one is there 2020, and there is one from outside AEW.
What's the most recent one?
The most recent one?
Just because I'm like, I want to say MJF Ospreay.
There is 2023. No, I don't think that made it.
Okay. So
there is another 2020. There's one more 2023.
Okay. 2023. What is it? It's not the other MJF Cole match from Dynamite, right?
It involves Cole, but it's not that match. Tag match.
MJF and Cole against FTR.
Correct.
Collision. Yeah.
Correct. From Collision. That's number 8.
What would the outside AEW one be? I don't think I'd know that.
I don't think you do either. I'll give you
just out of curiosity.
You might be able to guess the person if I give you the organization. Okay. So it's Rev Pro 2020. Who's the only person you know that's good? No. Oku.
2020?
Yeah. That's what it says. MJF Michael Oku.
I'm just wondering because they like just had a match when he was American champion.
Yeah. No, this is
that's interesting.
Rev Pro High Stakes 2020. So that was number 12.
Okay. So, all right.
So number 2 was a stipulation match against someone not there anymore.
Oh, right. Dog collar with Punk.
Correct.
Revolution 2022.
So that was number 2.
Okay. How did I forget that? Probably because I don't care.
Because it's Punk. And you try to block those out.
I do that pretty most of the time. MJF Mox, Full Gear 22.
MJF Mox. Yes, Full Gear 2022. That is match number 3.
Really? That's high. There wouldn't be MJF Mox All Out 2020.
There's no more Moxley.
Okay, so that's...
There is...
MJF Perry. I want to say like Double or Nothing 21 or 20.
MJF Jungle Boy 2020 is correct. Number 6.
Nailed it.
So you have... remaining, you have number 7, 10, 11, and then 13 to 15.
So I just have, 7 left or something?
So I'll give you a hint. Number 7 is from Double or Nothing 2022. And you will not agree with this, I don't think.
Oh, the Wardlow match.
Correct?
What? No. It wasn't that one the one where he got like squashed, remember?
And now I'm afraid that we've said his name, he'll come back because he's been gone for a long time.
Yeah, he's actually been gone.
Okay.
I actually forgot about him.
Number 10 is going to be tough because it's just from a Dynamite episode in 2021.
Who do you beat for the ring? Let me think. Jungle Boy.
Nope.
Darby.
You're in the right ballpark
Guevara?
in terms of pillars. Yes, Guevara. MJF Guevara.
All right, let me just see if I can cook something here.
So there's 4 left
I'm
that
thinking,
you're missing.
what has he done on pay-per-views?
So pay-per-view,
MJF Starks. Winter's Coming.
I was just gonna say one is Winter's Coming.
Boom,
that was number 13.
That's not even a pay-per-view. I just thought of that. Okay,
so you got 3 left.
MJF Omega Collision.
MJF Omega is not there.
Okay,
so you've got.
I'm just.
One's on a TV show. 2 others are pay-per-views.
TV show. Okay, so MJF Hangman Dynamite.
Correct.
From probably
number
for
14.
The ring. Okay, and then pay-per-view. Let me think.
Only other hint I'll give you: 2 left. 1 singles. 1 is not.
Would one of them be the Stadium Stampede?
Correct. From when?
Double or Nothing 21.
Correct. That's MJF and the Pinnacle versus Inner Circle. That's number 15.
Okay,
the only one left is number 11.
Singles pay-per-view.
From 2020, I'll tell you that.
Singles pay-per-view. I did the Cody one. I did the Perry one. Not Moxley.
Against a veteran, for sure.
Who did he wrestle at Full Gear?
That is correct. It is Full Gear, according to AI.
I don't know who he wrestled.
A veteran. Definite veteran.
Jericho?
Correct.
Gross.
Don't even remember. But yes. So you got pretty much all of them. That was fun. That was a different way of doing it. And that leaves me like, because now the AI will find that. Because before it used to not, it was like, I don't want to say what's good or bad or whatever. So now it's like, I don't know. It seems to have gotten smarter in some way. Closer to taking us over, basically. Great job. You nailed that. Showed a lot of, I don't remember most of these matches, to be perfectly honest, when I look at it. But
really pulling out of my ass.
You crushed it. But now we'll switch gears back to talking about wrestling, whatever we thought was notable from what we saw this week. It's Highspots and Restholds. All right, starting out with Raw. I'm not sure how much of Raw. I sent you a couple things to check out. I don't know if you did or not.
I saw the Kairi Sane thing.
Oh, yeah, I sent you that. That was gross. So in general, a really, really strong crowd for this show. In fact, at some point, I was suspicious of piped in noise because, it's like constant and it's just like, that doesn't feel natural. Right. But it did actually look like people in the crowd were cheering because sometimes you can tell there's like all this noise and then nobody's like doing anything.
Right.
But it looked like it might have been legitimate here. So this episode of Raw had like 2 mystery superstars to be included in matches. So I find that intriguing until you find out that it's Braun Strowman and Jey Uso. So like anticlimactic to beyond for me. So it was basically because Ripley is selling a leg injury. So and the reveal of that too was awful because it was basically like, well, did he? So Priest, and they still haven't revealed who it is, right? So Priest is kind of like something like, well, did he say he would do it? Did he say yes? No. Well, what did he say? He said yeet. And I'm just like, like I was by myself watching it and I audibly groaned and I'm like, ugh, Rhea Ripley, no. So anyway.
That's like the least desirable outcome for you. That's hilarious.
It was awful. And then apparently Bronson Reed has COVID. So Braun Strowman was the replacement for him in the triple threat. And so Braun is obviously heavily selling his midsection from the tsunami on the car or truck.
I saw he had like a lot of tape on him, yeah.
He did, yeah. General thoughts on the new commentator whose name is?
Joe Tessitore.
I thought he was quite good. He has a really good voice. Like he clearly is like a football guy.
I forget where they got him, yeah.
He's a college football guy.
Okay.
And he seems fairly knowledgeable in terms of like, not like I just studied up the last few weeks to learn this, but like maybe he pays attention.
Right, or he's like been doing more prep work.
He wasn't perfect, and I'll get to one of his mistakes that I texted you when it happened.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking at some point is I should just do my notes based off what I text you about Raw because you're at work, and I feel like I shouldn't text you at work, but you don't always have to answer me. It's little things to send you. So, I did say the show felt like a lot of copy and paste. I talked about it earlier in this episode, right?
On it.
And just like possibly too many long-term storylines at once. Anyways,
which Triple H does seem to like to do, right? So that might be like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, I think kind of, and not all of them are good either, right? So like if 50% of them are good,
if it's not good and you're dragging it out too long, then it's like
it's double bad almost,
yeah, you're kinda,
right? So the opening segments, Ripley selling that leg injury, talking about pinning the women's champ in Berlin, apparently. Dominic interrupts. He's got a black eye. Says that Liv's recovering, but will accept Rhea's challenge. And then, of course, Liv attacks from behind. Damian Priest comes out. The heels kind of slink away. Again, long-term story, not quite as hot as it once was, and there's not really any end in sight. But the performances are
what's
good.
the logical payoff there? Since like they beat Dom and Liv in Berlin, right? So it's like,
so now it's take the title back, I guess.
Take the title back, and then what does Priest stand to gain? Because like his title's with Gunther, so
right? And he's kind of just
going there.
I still think he and Ripley have awesome chemistry together.
Yeah, they're a good duo to like kind of have like, because obviously they can't really tag much with being a mixed tag team, but like
they could. I'd be totally fine with them.
They could, but they won't.
In the men's tag division.
They won't, though.
I know.
You know what I mean?
But I think that's interesting.
Well, yeah, because she is the China type, and like they could. It's just I know they won't, right? So that's what I mean. And so like they could just kind of be like adjacent, but then I don't know where they go from here.
I don't know where Priest goes.
Because in this, they kind of have feuds like that can run it alongside each other, right? But other than that, it's not much.
Agree. I don't know what they're going to do. I just didn't like the entire vibe of the 6-person tag with American Male and like Otis and friends, as I call them. It's one of these things, right? Otis and Tozawa are jokes. Maxine's not believable as a wrestler, although they keep getting her to like, oh, she jumped off of the ropes to the floor onto people.
She actually did something.
Like that's some kind of like technical move or something, right?
Yeah.
And I still don't like the presentation of the Creeds, even though I wanted them to join Gable initially. I just don't get why the two of them and Ivy Nile, for that matter, take Gable's like abusive leadership style. Because they're like legit amateur wrestling guys. Just because
they're used to that? Or like,
I don't know what it's supposed to be. And then Otis and Tozawa are just comedy misfits, and the Creed are... So that kind of made sense, right? They needed Gable because they don't get any whatever. But the Creeds are... I don't know. I don't like the way things are going
Gable
for them.
wrestles like them? I don't know.
So the Creeds and Nile won. Maxine tapped out to Nile's Dragon Sleeper. And then Gable wants an 8-person street fight against the Wyatts, right? So Howdy comes out.
But he only has 3 people.
No, it's Nile.
Oh, we're doing mixed.
I believe so.
Oh, well, but they're still outnumbered. No?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Right, there's 5.
Yeah.
Not 6. The Wyatt 6 has 5.
Well, because it's like...
Because Alexa Bliss is coming at some point.
I thought it was because Bray Wyatt's dead.
Ghost of Bray Wyatt is the 6th.
Or like it's also because it's spelled 6 with like S-I-C-K.
I refuse to do that in my notes, but...
Oh, I always say 6 with like an S on the end, but it's like sick.
Sick.
6.
Yes.
Zenza.
So Howdy gives a cryptic little promo. I didn't love it, but they basically are accepting, I think, this 8-person whatever match. So we'll get that.
Like it's a good TV view because it's not. This hasn't been paid off on pay-per-view at all. So at least it's like you have something to do on TV.
I agree. Excited for you, so I included as notable. Baszler got a win over Vega.
I mean, that shouldn't be like surprising.
And she needed involvement from DeVille and Stark.
Okay,
so we'll take that away. I thought I'd give you that moment and then just snatch it away from you, right? So what is it? The Pure
Fusion Collective.
I have PFC and I couldn't remember the F part.
Pure Fusion Collective.
So they continue the beatdown after the match. Lyra Valkyria comes up to help. Hooray!
Was she dancing though?
No, but the numbers game got to her too. PFC stand tall. DeVille daring someone to step to them. So my commentary here is: your team of badasses need to cheat and use the numbers game to defeat tiny Zelina Vega, who never wins matches. Badasses for sure. And Lyra seems to be kind of drifting aimlessly. She's not with the Rave Girls anymore, it looks like, but I don't know. I really like her, and I feel like they just don't have concrete plans
I don't know what their plan seems to be, because it really doesn't seem like anything.
Punk speaks, and other than pandering to the crowd, he says heelish things. He's the businessman, all about making money and getting money any way he can.
That makes him likable?
Right? But he keeps saying we. So then he's including the crowd with him, so babyface.
So that, I don't
he's not here to make friends, he's here to make money.
Then,
babyface?
Like, no.
Yeah. So again, it's just like I'm including the crowd.
I'm not saying that's like he's lying, because I'm sure that's exactly what he's here for, but like, you're not supposed to tell us that.
He also says his goal is Gunther's gold. He gets on the announce table to further pander.
Oh, he would not. Actually, he might last with Gunther just because, like, well, not getting hit by Gunther, but just the pace, because Gunther doesn't work fast.
And I'd like to say, because I dislike Punk so much, he's not going to want Gunther to beat the living crap out of him.
He will not. He would wuss out a Gunther immediately.
So Drew shows up in jeans and a black hoodie, kind of out of nowhere, trips Punk on the table, beats the hell out of him, gets him in the ring, hits a Claymore, and tells him that their issues will never be over. He takes the bracelet back, breaks it, and shoves the beads into Punk's mouth, which I thought was a pretty cool touch. Officials have to intervene. Punk is stretchered out, but Drew is clearly evil, so he attacks Punk again on his way to the ambulance, right? So I just, again, the roles are kind of reversed for me. I don't blame Drew for doing what he's doing, and Punk doesn't feel like a babyface to me, but that's okay.
But he just wants that money, though.
Other notable, we get the Intercontinental Championship contenders semifinals. So it's Dom. There's 2 triple threats on this show. First one, Dirty Dom, Dragunov, Dragon Lee. So kind of early on into this, Carlito interferes, attacks Dragon Lee. So then Damian Priest comes down to neutralize Carlito. Dom ends up kicking Priest and then basically running away in fear. So that leaves us with Dragon Lee and Dragunov, and that's a pretty good singles match essentially there, right? Dragunov winning with the Torpedo Moscow. This is where Tessitore, it did kind of come. It was like Lee hit a jumping knee and something else, and then the Torpedo Moscow was sudden. It wasn't like Dragunov was in control at the time. So I don't think that Tessitore thought it was a finish. So he just called it, what did I text you? Like he just called it a shoulder, whatever. Like not a shoulder tackle, but he didn't call it the Torpedo Moscow anyways. But again, I generally liked him on commentary. I did like the action between Lee and Dragunov, and the right man won because Dragunov should win almost all the time, in my opinion. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn beat Damage Control. Solid tag match to become number 1 contender. We had Cargill and Belair joining commentary because they're the champs. This is the one where Kairi Sane almost died off a dive from the top. So the idea was that they were supposed to pull Belair in front to take this, and it was like glanced her.
Yeah.
And it looks like Sane's face goes right off the edge of the table. And you could see there was a moment in the ring of awkwardness. And even, I think it was Io, you can see her keep looking out to the floor to see, like, is Sane going to be back in to finish what we're supposed to do? Or am I going to have to audible out of this by myself kind of thing? So it turns out Sane did continue. So I was a little bit surprised. The camera was off her for a while. So did you say she was bleeding?
I did see people saying she was busted.
Because I don't think it came out on TV, but they cut away from her for. But yeah, it honestly looked like she smashed her face right off the corner or the edge of the table. Anyways, they hit the gory bomb flatliner. They being Fire and Dawn, so they earned the title shot. Fine match with a scary moment, but again, it's the same teams just cycling through.
Well, the
here's our tag division.
It's not
minus
deep.
The Rave Girls, and that's about it.
It's not deep at all.
No. Then I thought the best part of the show, we talked about it, was the Gunther and Zayn interaction. So Gunther comes out by himself. He's bragging about beating the best version of Randy Orton. I liked it too. He was saying, like, because remember we were saying like him getting really personal about Orton was really out of character for Gunther.
Yeah.
So his thing was, I did that because I wanted the best Randy Orton. I wanted him fired up and motivated so I can say, I beat the best version of him. Go away. We're done with you now, which I think is awesome. So Zayn comes out and says that he'd been thinking about his own IC title reign, and he lists numerous greats like Michaels and Bret Hart and blah, 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 who went on from intercontinental reigns to becoming world champion, and he now includes Gunther in that list. And of course, Sammy wants to join the list as well. So then Gunther says, all of the people Sammy mentioned stepped up after their IC title runs, where Zayn seems to always step down, which I thought was cool, right? He says he says he does give Sammy credit for always getting up when he gets knocked down, but his answer to Sammy's title shot request is a simple no. Gunther goes to leave. Sammy then reminds him that Sammy is the only one to beat Gunther since Gunther's been on the main roster, and he says he's coming for Gunther and the title, and Gunther just kind of smiles. So, again, I love this interaction. I love Gunther's character so much. He's just like, I'm a legit heel badass. I love pro wrestling. I want to like leave my legacy and prove I'm the best. I don't think you're on my level. You keep having these setbacks. You're not ready for me yet, so I'm not going to fight you. It's not that I'm avoiding you or scared of you. You're just not on my level to do this, right? And then it puts Sammy immediately in that underdog baby face where he just thrives better than almost everyone.
Getting a title shot.
Right. And he's sort of like, but I am the only guy to beat you. So how about that? Right. So I thought this was the best thing on Raw. And then I also like this. I'm actually going to compliment Uso here for believe it or not. So Braun Breaker interrupts an Uso interview backstage and gets in his face and tries to intimidate him. And I thought did a pretty good job.
Makes it kind of clear who's winning that 4-way though. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. He basically was like, no member of your family has ever beaten a member of my family, and you're not going to be the one to do it. You're chasing Dominic's sloppy seconds, and basically, if you're the one, I'm just going to beat you, so you need to not do this. So Uso takes off his stupid glasses and gets serious for a minute and says he won't be intimidated. He's going to get mommy. He's going to win the IC tournament, and then he's going to take that title from Braun.
Are you saying when he stops doing the goofy shtick, he's not bad? What?
That's exactly what I'm saying here.
What?
That I thought Breaker sounded awesome, and he does come across as intimidating. And Uso getting serious in response was such a welcome departure. He wasn't saying yeet. He wasn't doing this. He didn't have the stupid glasses on.
I thought he was decent as a solo guy. It was when he feuded with Roman last year, like before the crappy tribal combat match.
Right.
He was actually serious by himself. And then, like, obviously his in-ring work still, he's not the best on his own, but like if he's more serious, he's not horrible.
And he's like a victim of the crowd responding to certain things that then he leaned into. And I find like I put hyper annoying.
Oh, yeah.
His stuff. So this was the best I've seen of him in a while. The other triple threat we talked about was Strowman, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. So notable in this is Pete Dunne shows up again to attack Sheamus with the shillelagh. So again, this is like copy and paste, right?
Dunne just is always attacking people.
So Braun hits a running power slam to Kaiser for the win. For me, obviously, this is the worst choice for a winner out of the three of these. And both triple threats involved one of them getting taken out. So that's kind of like Will Washington continuity issue, right? Is why are you having a similar thing happen in both triple threats?
That is a Will Washington issue.
Yeah, even though he doesn't work for them. Still, that's another FNS thing. You'll know if you know. And then finally, Uso and Damian Priest, because it's a babyface super team, they have to beat the tag team champions clean in the main event.
McDonough and Balor haven't haven't done a single defense yet, and this is the second time at least that they lost to Jey Uso and somebody else.
It's one of my least favorite WWE things is having like
they
your
lost
tag
to
team
Sammy and Jey,
lose to two good singles guys.
Yeah, I think they lost to Sammy and Jey already. Like they've not defended the title successfully once, but they've lost 2 non-title matches.
So you get Spear, Razor's Edge, leading to Uso splash for the win after Rhea has to come out and neutralize Liv with her crutch. So I don't know if they were saying...
With her crotch?
Yeah, I did correct that to say with her crotch in my notes, but it was her crutch. So I saw some people trying to say that Rhea wasn't really hurt, but that doesn't make sense. Why would she fake the injury? Anyways, I think she was just good enough to use the crutch. Decent action, hate the tag champs losing, and Tessitore, as I said, clearly got the memo because he referred to JD McDonough as the bobblehead, and I'm already pissed off about it.
So stupid.
Like, you don't call other wrestlers fat, you don't call other wrestlers ugly, you don't make fun of anyone's teeth, or, do you know what I mean? But for some reason, it's okay to constantly say that this guy has a giant head. I don't get it. They don't
understand
why he's the one that has to take that. Anyways. That's all I had from
Another
Raw.
thing that makes it feel like Vince is around because he's small and he's getting made fun of for something like Shorty G all over.
Right. You are sort of suspicious, like
between this and like Pure Fusion Collective and Vinci losing in 4 seconds, like there's
and even what's the name of the group on NXT?
Fail Influence,
right?
New Catch Republic, even
it's. So I'm trying to shorten all my Highspots and Restholds, so we'll fly through some NXT hopefully. So the crowd sings again while Paige is trying to speak because he comes out to start this. Basically, it's him. Oh, no, sorry. It was Trick is out there to call out Pete Dunne, but Ethan Page comes out instead. The crowd does chant, "Whoop that butch," when Dunne shows up. So that's frustrating too. So again, Hendry is like defeated and gone from NXT.
I heard
but the crowd is still chanting that song. And Page has to battle through that. And then, so they were kind of, again, bottom line is you paid for your ticket. You should say whatever you want. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I hate your behavior, but I'll defend your right to behave that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like what you're doing, but I'll defend your right to do it.
It's definitely annoying.
So basically from this, Trick and Pete Dunne keep fighting off and on throughout the show. So Ava finally makes a match. And my interest in Trick has definitely declined quite a bit. And I'll get into that a bit more.
I think the hype's not as much there, and the cracks in ring have more than shown.
That's more the issue is like the development, right?
Yeah.
We get a pretty solid tag team triple threat for the number 1 contenders. It was Gallus, Rascals, Hank, and Tank. Javon Evans comes down to take out Joe Coffey to further that story. The Good Brothers come down to take out Hank and Tank to further that story. and the Rascals win with consecutive splashes. And I thought it was a pretty fun 11-minute opener. Good pace. Triple threat rules in effect, so you get lots of... there's no count, there's no DQs or anything, right? And I thought a smart use for Hank and Tank in there. They are beyond serviceable, getting into like pretty decent, I think. Rascals have an interaction with Fraxium backstage, where I thought Rascals came across as almost heelish, strangely enough. They want a title shot.
I didn't think so.
Fraxium tells Wentz that a new partner won't change anything, which I thought was a good point. Rascals say they're on the same page. So this is what didn't make sense to me. They're like, yeah, but me and Trey are on the same page and you guys aren't. But that was in the past kind of thing, right? So, and then Fraser accurately points out, like, says the guy holding a singles title, right? Like, we're the ones with the tag titles and you're a singles guy and you're telling us we're not united, right?
I guess because they haven't kicked each other in the face yet.
Yeah. So I thought Wentz's logic seemed a bit flawed there, but so that's why I was like, is that heel logic then? Because like we're buddies and have been around friends together longer?
I guess.
I don't know. The referee looks like an idiot in the Lexus King match as Lexus beats Oro Mensah. King gets his feet up on the ropes in the corner, like really, really clearly. Like the ref has to work hard not to look up or see it with his peripherals. And I told you could hear King, because remember Mensah told that story weeks ago about his father being in a fire
just
and have to go to like Switzerland to get special treatment. So you can hear King say in the middle of this match as they're in the corner together that your dad should have burned to ashes. And then you hear Mensah say, like, what the F, but the full word did you just say? And he snaps, loses control, and then falls victim to the roll-up. And I thought Mensah's rage at those comments was really believable, right? And it kind of cost him the match. So that's fine. But the bottom line is Lexus King isn't good. So you can only do so much with this. Oba tries his hand at misogyny in an interaction with the family. So feels like we're getting him more clearly defined as a heel here. I didn't really like this choice. And I don't think it worked out the way they wanted. So Rizzo says a bunch of stuff in her so natural sounding accent that you love.
It's so brutal. Oh my God.
Oba says in some cultures, women are to be seen and not heard. So not a huge fan of that being used as a heel. But anyways, and then it's almost like Oba's offering Tony another match, and Tony the babyface is like, no, but Stax will defend Rizzo's honor. So it's like, are you scared? Is that the story you're telling
here? He
doesn't
want to roll his ankle again, all right?
I don't know what it was, but I didn't love this direction for Femi. I do really love his delivery still, though. It's not even just the accent. It's the cadence that he uses is so different.
I saw someone say the segment was a bunch of fake accents. I'm like, Oba's isn't fake.
I don't think so.
A kid.
When Apollo did it, it was.
For sure. But like, even if it is fake, there's a huge difference between Oba and Rizzo.
Agree. Oh, yeah, agree.
Like,
one sounds like believable, and one is like, this is like beyond cartoonish.
I hate it.
Yes. Dunn taking on Trick Williams ended up in a double countout after Dunn hit a Russian leg sweep off the kind of railing through the announce table. They continue to brawl afterwards, so bring on a stipulation match, I assume, right?
I think they said it was last man standing.
You're right. Trick hits a lot of glancing blows. A lot of his like big
trick
kicks.
Shot has always been a glancing blow.
And here's where I say like he feels like he's plateaued. So when he was really limited experience, how good he was good. You're like, wow, he's pretty good because he hasn't wrestled for long. But now he's gaining a bunch.
He's been here since 2.0 started, right? Literally the first episode. So it's been like almost 3 years.
So he's much more experienced, but he feels like the same level in ring, and it's no longer impressive. And it's almost like the opposite, right? So that's why I'm kind of shifting on him. Because I always say, like, shows a lot of promise. As long as they continue to improve, he's going to be awesome.
I feel like we said that with Cargill, too, when she was in AEW.
Yes.
She really plateaued.
And Jada Parker's in that boat now, but she's showing that she is improving.
Right. And she also hasn't been here. Like, they've even said less than a year, right?
So Trick seems to have plateaued in ring-wise. And now that he should be getting better, I'm kind of like, I'm not loving this. So yes, it's a last man standing match for a title shot, which that's
for a title shot.
That's asking a lot of Trick. I feel like Dunn's gonna have to do some heavy lifting.
I feel like it does kind of hide Trick though. At least
it might, I guess, because they can use weapons and all the stuff.
And it's not like at least Dunn won't take a pinfall either.
That's true. Ridge Holland gets a solo vignette, takes credit for Chase U while talking trash about Duke and Riley Osborne. He's basically like they held him back, but they're the ones that failed. Now we get the guy who's been trying so hard. He's been trying so hard not to be. He tells Thea he's going to love every second of it. Thought he was fine.
I thought it was pretty good for him.
But we're back to Ridge Holland Unleashed, which is not my favorite. And it's kind of his arc has been, I'm here because I hate groups now. I'm a loner. Joins a group. Ben's like, I hate this group and will destroy it. I'm a loner now. So I don't know. We've circled back around.
Didn't want the loser group.
Spears gives a seemingly trying really hard to be sincere, thanking Jensen for saving him from Blade and having his back, like going overboard to be sincere. So Jensen asks why everyone thinks Spears is manipulating him, and Spears is kind of like, it only really matters what you think of me, and then he walks away. And Dion Williams, who he's smart?
Dion Lennox.
Sorry, Lennox. How he's smart? He's
glasses.
Reading a book and wearing glasses.
Yeah, I knew he's
smart. He puts his book down, and he basically says, like, it is psychological manipulation, and Spears is gaslighting you, right? So Jensen's kind of doesn't know where to go. So that could be interesting. Javon Evans beats Joe Coffey with his like spinning, twisting splash thing.
Yeah.
3 minutes. Very surprised how short this was. Coffey's like a job guy right now, interestingly enough. Cedric did have to come out to neutralize Gallus, leading right into the finish of that. So then Gallus are backstage complaining about that when Ren Sinclair and the rest of No Quarter Catch Crew walk up and says, oh, here's the one I forgot, because as we talk about, Miles Bourne, is hearing impaired. I don't know if deaf's the right word.
Wasn't it like he's deaf in 1 year at least or something like that?
So
like there's something, right? Like
so Ren Sinclair walks up and says, Miles wants you to keep it down because he has sensitive ears. So I don't know, and there's another like whole segment based around him not hearing coming up.
Is not as rough.
So the idea here is Ren is getting ahead of herself and laying out challenges for Dempsey, and Dempsey's not really a fan of that because he's a heel. He's not like take on all comers here. Paxley beat Rosemary in 4 minutes to get a shot at Wendy Chu, I imagine. And I had to listen to Vic Joseph talk about demons and realms on NXT. I put Rosemary's high school play nonsense has invaded NXT. Lyra Valkyria shows up to save Paxley from Chu. Lyra is getting lost in the shuffle, I think is disappointing. And then in a later segment, Lyra says she wants to work with Paxley and they hug it out. So nothing like befriending your stalker. Right?
Yeah, we're back to that.
Yep, again. You have again there too. Jordan Grace is defending her TNA Knockouts champion in an open challenge next week on NXT. Always happy to see her before she...
an open challenge on TNA too. It's weird.
Always happy to see her before she signs with NXT, whenever she's a free agent.
They'll probably want her.
Mostly dominant 5-minute win for Obafemi over Stax. He won with a powerbomb and stared Tony D down during the pinfall. We always talk about Tony D's stories dragging on for too long, and now it looks like this is
how is it like? I don't understand how it's still going.
It is. One note I made about Booker being, I think on commentary you're supposed to treat it like improv, right? And one of the rules of improv is like yes and. Whatever the other person suggests, you don't shoot it down, you kind of go with it, right? And sort of go from there. So Vic says to him, I forget what the move was. What's it like to have that done to you, Booker? And Booker just goes, I've never had that done to me. Right? And I feel like that's a moment where regardless, you're supposed to like...
You play up the move.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You don't say no.
That's whatever you do with like the ex-wrestler commentator, right?
Always say yes. Ashante Theodonis tries to hit on Carmen Petrovich and Brindley Reese backstage. Eddie Thorpe interrupts and the women leave. Adonis tells Thorpe to let Adonis do his thing and threatens to fight Thorpe before leaving. And he did say Adonisly again, which still makes me laugh.
Wait, they should have rap music versus EDM or whatever.
And they could. He also called Thorpe DJ Platonic, which I thought was pretty funny too, because he's not interested in picking up women all the time, right? So this is fine mid-card fare, and I did laugh at Adonis twice in like a minute promo, so doing something right, I think. Javon Evans convinces Ren backstage that he deserves a shot at the Heritage Cup. She does this right behind Miles Bourne's back, and he has no idea that it's happening.
There's no peripheral either.
And I think to piggyback off you saying he's deaf in one ear, he does pull out like an AirPod out of one ear. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like a lot of people watching NXT don't know that he's hearing impaired and aren't picking up on, like, they're just taking shots at this every single week.
There's no way, like, you're doing it without his permission, right?
I agree.
It still
but also
doesn't
it's one of those,
right.
like,
It still doesn't feel right.
Hey, low card young guy in NXT, do you care if we take shots at your hearing impairment? What's he supposed to say?
Like, yeah.
Right? Is he going to go no? Right? He's not. So I don't know. I hope he's okay with it. So Dempsey walks up and Ren tells him she gave Evans the cup match. Dempsey's annoyed, but Ren says she's just taking his advice and slowing down and thinking about things before she makes a decision. Dempsey yells at Bourne for standing right there and let it happen, and then Bourne is like, "What's going on?" So they are using his disability for comedy.
It's not good.
It's a little uncomfortable. Jada Parker gets a rehab win. She beats Jasmine Nix in 5 minutes. So one of the many short matches with a predictable outcome you get on NXT
Jada
week
Parker's
to week.
No good rookie.
She hit her usual butt-based offense. The Hypnotic looked really weak because it was kind of, I think she was trying to coming from behind to hit it, but it was like on her shoulder and arm. So Selling getting knocked out from that contact was a little bit rough.
Yeah.
Fatal Influence obviously attacked Jada Parker after the match, and no one comes to help her. So I think this is the idea. I think she's distancing herself from OTM, right? Mm-hmm. Because Parker's now babyface, and I don't think they are.
Well, I guess they can't really do much either.
No,
in this kind of
correct.
scenario.
They can't come and beat down a couple women, I would imagine. Babyface women backstage are hyped up for Julia. I assume that's who they're talking about. But Fatal Attraction show up in Mean Girls.
Fatal Influence. Oh my god.
Whatever. Fatal. Whatever it is.
Just in case we didn't.
Generic name 6.7.
In case we didn't already think they were similar to Toxic Attraction.
Mean Girl it up. So Lonnie sounds rough here yet again in her reply to them, and I put worst on the mic candidate, and I believe I have since added that.
We've put her there, yeah. If you check the doc, she's there.
And then Roxanne Perez ended the show with an in-ring segment bragging about herself and comparing herself favorably to Io and Asuka. Unfamiliar music hits, and it's Chelsea Green invading my NXT. Hooray!
Doesn't her beginning of her theme say it's Chelsea? I feel like you should know.
I didn't catch that part. She rips on the crowd a bit, says that no one can tell her she's not the number one contender. More unfamiliar music.
But why?
And it's Julia. I know, like what? How?
I know she was there for like a week or two, a little while ago. But didn't she already lose a title match?
Is she currently a heel?
Chelsea, for sure.
Okay. So maybe it's just extreme heel logic. But I don't know.
Against Perez, who's a heel.
Right. Good point. But Julia comes out to make her NXT TV debut. We get a forearm strike, and honestly, from the angle they showed, a pretty weak-looking knee from Julia. The crowd is chanting for her, and all she says is "me, you, CW." So clearly, as they go to the new network, they're trying to stack a show.
The first 2 weeks they're going arena shows, I think. Right. Or like not arena, but like they're going on the road, so it'll be some sort of arena level thing. So because I know Orton was advertised for one, there's one in Chicago, so you know who's there.
Yeah, of course.
So I know.
I think the first one's in Chicago.
I don't remember.
I think so.
Which is which, but I know they're definitely loading it up with a bunch of crap.
And so that should be a cool match, and I would imagine Perez retains and
I think
through maybe shenanigans.
I assume we'll get Ego Trick.
Yeah, we will.
Off the back of the last man standing match, which is something, because no way it's done. No offense to my boy, but
no offense to that. Yeah,
he'll probably butcher it.
Another long-term story that I'm not completely loving. And that was everything from NXT. Did you catch anything from SmackDown?
The only thing I had was I watched Takeshita Mordos from Collision.
Oh, you did?
I only kind of half watched it because I was gaming, so I'll watch it again if you want.
Yeah, I will watch that for sure.
Takesh advanced as expected. Some great moves towards the end. One thing I remember is Moros got dropped high on a German, then took a Blue Thunder Bomb. Giovanni miscalled that as the Raging Fire.
Oh yeah.
And then they're like, no, it's the Blue Thunder Bomb. Takeshita did end up winning with the Raging Fire though. I hope he still keeps the Power Drive or the Wagamama, because I like the new.
Just have a bunch of finishers.
But the Power Drive, or sorry, not the Power Drive. The Raging Fire is cool. He was using that a lot in Japan. The Spinning Falcon Arrow.
I don't mind multiple finishers because when you're in like a tough match with a really strong opponent, you got to use whatever works.
I just say that because I think his knee strike looks amazing.
It does. It looks great. Okay, so do you have any figuring before we move on?
A little bit, but we'll do
the preview first. All right, so we will just reset quickly, and we will come back with our quick preview and predictions for AEW All Out. All right, I'm coming in off the cuff on this one for the most part. I mean, I'm aware of some matches, and some are pretty obvious, but I haven't put any thought into it. Let's see how it goes. Talk to me.
So the only 0-hour match I've seen advertised is Rhodes, Guevara, and Hologram against Premier Athletes. So I just picked Team Hologram.
premier athletes never win anything ever, so I couldn't pick them. The odds, like if it were like a betting app or something, the odds would
are
be
not
extreme.
good.
No.
Okay, for main card, first one I had was Monet versus Shida for the TBS title, and I thought it was a fairly simple pick. One, because it's one of the easy ones with the lack of build time.
Yes.
Made even easier by the fact that Monet beat Shida in a title match on Dynamite weeks back, so not really.
It's Monet. There's no. Monet. The only time we talk about it all the time, the only time Shida gets attention is when they don't know what they're doing with that title, and it seems, or with the women's title, and it seems like they do, so she's not winning.
Yeah. Then we got Okada defending the Continental title against Briscoe, Cassidy, and Takeshita in a 4-way. It's another fairly simple one, I feel like, given the qualifiers were the night before this. However, I'm going to throw that out the window in favor of a Hail Mary. Takeshita won big last year. I'm saying we do it again.
I don't think it's crazy.
Give him the belt. Give him the C2. I'll forsake Okada for this because he'll be fine. So I'm going to just go for broke with Takeshita here.
I don't think that's crazy. And at some point...
And Okada doesn't have to lose either.
True. That even makes it more... And at some point, they're going to want that off Okada to move him up. I don't know if that's now, though. That's the only thing that's stopping me from...
You could have Okada dancing for the title.
You really could. And people would believe that that's where he could...
And Takeshita could run the C2 because he just had the G1 run. You know what I mean? So it's like, Takeshita's prepped for that. I'm going to go for broke on my boy.
All right. Just to give him the good energy, I'll take Takeshita too.
Yeah, Team Takeshita.
Normally, I'm like, I'll disagree with you just for fun because it makes it more interesting, but it's Takeshita.
Honestly, I'll try to avoid spoilers just for Takeshita.
And we were in on the ground floor of that guy.
If he gets his moment tonight, I may cry.
All right. That'd be cool.
Because
I'll record it.
I love him dearly.
Yeah.
Oh, because that match last year with Omega was really good, remember?
Yeah. And the fact that you said Okada doesn't have to be pinned, that's kind of what pushed me over the
Briscoe
edge.
Can take...
Well, obviously. Whoever wins, it's Briscoe.
And then Takeshita can take the ROH title too, and he can
right.
just not do anything with it.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I'll take Takeshita. I'll go on that limb with you.
Honestly, probably one of the matches I'm looking most forward to, just because that's a really good group of talent, though.
I got something to look forward to tonight.
Like Okada, Briscoe, Cassidy, Takeshita. What do you have to complain about there?
And nothing to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe I will consume an alcoholic beverage while we watch. Probably not. I talk tough. As a pretty non-drinker, I say that and then be like, or I'll have one and be like, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Basically nothing.
So cool.
I'm excited for that one though. The match looks good, and
yeah,
it's Takeshita. I'm pulling for my boy tonight. We always say we've been on the ground floor on Takeshita. Like,
we have.
I don't think I saw his first match, because I think the first match I remember him having not on Dark was with Lethal on Rampage, which I didn't see, but I remember the first match I saw was the one with Hangman, where Punk was on commentary.
Yep.
And just love it first sight.
Love him. I'll take him.
Yep. Nightingale and Willow and Statlander in a Chicago street fight.
Did they let this get cool?
Yeah, they didn't mention it all this week.
And Willow
was in the conglomeration. That's so weird.
And she was on like the pre-show of All In. Like they've really kind of backed off of this.
This one's odd. I thought it'd be a title match, but it's not. I still feel like Willow wins to pay out the feud, and both of them can move on because they did kind of drop the ball here.
The non-title, it makes me want to say Stat, but I also think like you need to. For me, I'm pushing the crap out of Willow as a babyface. So
I think so.
I'll take Willow as well. Although, like Stat doesn't need more losses either, but I'll still take Willow.
All right.
We're agreeing on everything. It's not good.
I thought that the Keshta one would cost me my victory here.
No, I'm willing to send out the positive energy to him by picking him.
Yeah. Bucks versus Blackpool for the tag titles. Easy pick based on the lack of build. I'm looking forward to the match, like I said, because I feel like it'll be really good on paper, but Bucks win easily.
Bucks retain, yeah. They're not shifting those titles yet off of them. I'm really hoping they develop some new tag team better than they have like Claudio and Yuta that are just kind of all of a sudden, yeah, I guess we'll go for it, you know? Yeah.
MJF Garcia, which I almost forgot about when I was putting this together.
So this is the one, right?
Yeah, I feel like it has to be Garcia, because what else do you do?
I know.
Like, I feel like MJF doesn't really gain anything from a win here.
I know, but just so we don't pick all the same.
I mean...
I'm thinking about it. And just, like... They have this history of starting and stopping Garcia, and
I know,
maybe
they can't do that again.
But maybe they think, even though I don't agree, that the MJF rub is enough.
I don't know. I feel like they're smart enough to know that's not.
I'm torn here. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not dumb, and I'll take Garcia as well.
All right.
You gotta have something different.
Next, Ospreay versus Pac for the international title. Love Pac. Would love a win for Pac. Do not expect a win for Pac. Ospreay retain.
This is my most anticipated match, and
I
has
think
a
so,
possibility of being just a
for
show
me,
stealer.
It's between this and the cage match for sure, and then the 4-way.
I don't think it's a zero chance Pac wins, only from the same premise of if you want to push Ospreay up the card.
But I don't think
it's now.
Yeah.
So I will take Ospreay as well. But that match,
especially because Ospreay just won the belt back.
That match could be amazing.
Absolutely.
Give them like 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah. Danielson versus Jack Perry for the AEW World Title. No chance Scapegoat retires Danielson, so it's Danielson.
It's Danielson, and we just had the most boring picks. We agreed on everything.
Yeah. I did notice something else that I thought was interesting too. There's a lot of champion versus champion matches. Danielson, Perry, both champions.
Yeah.
Ospreay, Pac, both champions. Bucks, Blackpool, both champions.
Switch mine to MJF.
Briscoe's in there.
I don't want to be the same. I'll take the L just to not have a guaranteed tie.
Right.
I will risk that for you people.
That is
okay.
So unnecessary.
Dozens of you care about this.
So that is okay. All right.
So I'll do that.
Then we get Swerve vs. Hangman, which has now become an unsanctioned lights out steel cage match.
Wow, let's just pile on.
So it's
a nesting doll of stipulations.
For the rankings, it's off the record.
Right.
Far and away the hardest one to predict for me because I feel like a good case can be made either way. Swerve's kind of on a downswing after dropping the title. I feel like he could take another hit. Hangman's due a win, I think, for this. And I feel like this is where he finally kind of gets it. And like, because he's, despite being the heel, he's yet to get one up on Swerve. And I feel like that's key for some things. And I feel like Hangman takes it here. So I'm risking it. I'm going to take Hangman. Because I'm not fully confident on it, but I feel like there's a pretty good chance. And I think it should happen.
And if Hangman wins, you can sort of prolong this and keep them together since neither one's quite...
Not really a world title right now.
Right.
And like you could have Hangman face Danielson maybe at the end of the year or something because they have history they could feud. But like, because right now, what's 2 in favor of Swerve and a draw. So Hangman's due a win, I feel.
But then you are also like, Hangman got so much on that last segment that maybe that
then
means
again, though, Swerve invaded his house and he still won. So you know what I mean? Like devil's advocate.
I think you got to give Hangman this as well. So I'll take him. And
I thought that was me gambling my
that'll keep my MJF as the only bizarre pick I made.
Oh, if you guys, that'll be interesting, I guess. But
so we looking forward to watching that tonight. If we love it, maybe we record something early. Otherwise, we'll get to it.
I guess we do have the Sunday for once.
We do.
Usually they do the Sunday pay-per-views because of Collision, but I guess I don't know why they didn't here, but I don't.
All right, so we battled some technical difficulties, but I think we're back, and Jack's going to quickly talk about some of an update from some wrestling figures, figuring it out with Jack. Let's go. No transitional music. No, because I'm getting angry. The rage is I haven't had this kind of anger at the recording process.
I remember the one time we like lost our whole thing.
We lost it a couple times.
That's true.
So
but they had actual images for that Jay White figure I got in order, which is pretty sweet in the red.
Oh, that looks good.
That'll be sweet.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I was saying I need to order the Takeshita because there's thank the gods, there's a Takeshita that's not a chase.
Nice.
So I'll have to order from Ringside, which means you have to port it from the US, but small price to pay.
That's right.
Literally.
Literally and figuratively.
Figure. Yeah. They also got they're doing a Black Machismo from All In, like
of course.
First year, which that one's kind of cool. It looks kind of nice with all like a
lot of details.
Yeah, he's got all the frizz on his pants. I don't know if the pants come off or you.
Hey, you got a new cell phone case?
Yeah, I got it from Expo.
Oh, nice.
And it's weird because now this is like up a bit, so then now on my work pants, this is starting to create an outline. On my jeans, I have like an outline where the hard ridge. It's not good. It's real bad. And there's like packaging images for half of the new Elite Wave, which there's DIY Ciampa, Jimmy Uso somewhat updated, and then Zoe Stark, which looks pretty decent.
Oh, nice. Good for her.
Headbangers, I don't care about because I'm not gonna get that. But then there's pay-per-view series Hangman from when he won the title with Omega. It's actually new gear because with Hangman they've just been releasing the same one I have. I don't love the yelling head, but the rest of it's good. There's a Hardy Boys 2-pack I can't find images for.
Nice.
Even though I've seen it a bunch. I don't care because I'm not gonna get it.
No, you're not.
Camo Lucha Bros from Full Gear also.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is good because they're on the way out.
Yeah.
And Hardy Boys haven't been there either. It's just I think because their figures are planned, they're actually still releasing them.
Right.
Like they released Punk way after he was gone too because they had a ROH Punk planned.
Yep.
Same thing I guess. And there's the Rollins is up for period. Remember the Orange Elton John one?
Yep.
With the long pants I don't like?
Yes.
Yeah, that one. I'll still get it. I want it still. Even though I don't like the gear a ton. I like the look. I just don't like that he's not having wearing kick pads. Just weird.
Just weird.
And then there's an Ultimate 2-pack of Ultimate Warrior and Papa Shango from 92.
Hey, Papa Shango's toyetic, as you taught me.
Is
the
he?
Word. Isn't he?
I guess so, a little
Like,
bit.
he's cool looking.
Yeah,
I guess not a variety, though.
They had that whole feud where Warrior has to puke up black goo.
Right. Black goo. Back then, even, black goo was a thing.
Always been a thing.
Awesome. That's it. All right, that's going to wrap up 216. As I suppress my rage to go and watch a basketball game, we'll be back here for 217, talking about All Out unless something strikes us and we have time beforehand. We'll be back down here next Saturday to do the same thing for 217. Hope to see you all there. Plus, bring some friends along. Tell somebody about us if you think we're doing a good job. See you back here next Saturday. Until then, everybody, take care.